sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Florida.
Last night was opening night in Miami. Some hardware, some stars and stripes, Levon, CJ, and Edgar, and a show-stopping rally cat who entertained and showed off some sick moves. Oh yeah, and an enormous night by Marcell Ozuna. Last year's All-Star busted out 2 homers and 6 runs driven in. And in the end, the Marlins wiped out the Braves. Who wants pie? Miami and Atlanta, Game 2 next. In Miami tonight, that's a great shot. Roof is shut. You can see right inside Marlins Park. Game 2, this is a 2-game series. And of course, the Marlins in the opener last night got 3 hits and 3 runs from that man. Got some hits from that man. Oh, Bonnie's back in town. And of course, Marcell Ozuna had an enormous night last night. All cats aside, Rich Waltz along with Todd Hollinsworth. Welcome to Miami. Game 2. Game 1 against the Braves. The Marlins are hot right now. They've won 4 of 5. And as you said on that tail end of the road trip, they're putting it all together.
Well, and that's important. Again, listen, momentum in the game of baseball is defined by many in a lot of different ways. But there is no denying that this team is feeling a unity when they go out there and play on the field. You saw it in the first inning last night, stringing hits together, guys going the other way, and then backing that up with a good start from Dan Straley, the bullpen doing its part. It's a formula for success, and right now I really believe they're buying into it.
All right, let's look at some ingredients for tonight. Let's start with Marcell Ozuna. Terrific start for him. All-star starter in center field for the National League last year. Just one of those nights that you dream of as a player.
I think it's less about what Marcell Ozuna is doing at the plate because, in my personal opinion, he's calling the shots right now. These 2 swings that you see going the other way, those are with 2 strikes. He's down in the count, 0-2, 1-2. That right there, he's ahead in the count, 1-2. He's thinking clearly at home plate. He's looking for pitches, but the key that any player tells you, he's not missing it.
On the mound for the Marlins is Tom Koehler tonight. Koehler's last start was stopped by rain, and an encouraging start for him. The Marlins need guys like Koehler and the rest of the rotation all to take a step forward.
Yeah, real important for Tom Koehler to pick up where he left off in Game 1. Outstanding in the 4th and 5th innings, retired 6 in a row. Hopefully he picks up where he left off.
Tom Koehler gets the ball tonight. You see the no decision against the Nationals as the Fish get ready here to take on the Braves. Going Oppo, how do you do it? What's it mean? We explore it with some lefty bats and even a Marcell Ozuna swing when we get back.
good night last night. The headline writers would have had a lot of fun coming up with a headline for the game. One of them could be opposites attract, because that was a factor for the Marlins. What is it about the hit? We'll show you some examples about going the other way that really helped the Marlins last night.
Yeah, they call it going oppo, and that's the opposite field for a hitter. And you see Christian Yelich here doing it to perfection. That ball travels late in the strike zone. He keeps his head on the ball. Justin Bour, another great example of this, with a big sac fly out in the warning track out there to left field. Marcell Ozuna, of course, with one of his 2 home runs. This ball travels a long way to the opposite field here at Marlins Park. And I'll tell you what, you look at in batting practice, you see guys taking the ball out in the pull side. Christian Yelich, you see him track the ball all the way down to the catcher's glove. It's not really a dissimilar swing to a pull swing. They just let it travel a lot further deep in the strike zone, get it on the barrel of the bat, and the ball travels just as well the opposite field. You look at him hitting batting practice, oh, everybody could take it pull side and hit the ball in the ballpark. Yeah. And they say nothing about that, but when a guy hits a line drive to the opposite field, oh, way to hit the ball, way to hit the ball, because it's tough to do.
Yeah, did you ever get in a good rhythm where you were going the opposite way and on a roll, if you will?
Yeah, absolutely. That's when you know you're hitting it well. And you saw Marcell Ozuna last night take that ball deep and go out to opposite field, right field, against Bartolo Colon. Later in the game, next at bat, he takes a 97-mile-an-hour fastball inside and goes pull side. Wow, that's when you know you're doing really well, when you can go to both sides of the field.
Yeah, the pitcher might be thinking, hey, he beat me on the outside pitch, maybe I'll go inside, and you beat him both sides. Yeah,
I know where to pitch him.
You got something. All right, Marlins got something going. They've won 4 out of 5. They'll wrap up a quick 2-game set against the Braves before the Mets come in tomorrow. Braves, Fish, coming up next on Fox Sports Flow.
Brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by your South Florida Chevy dealers. And your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. The bobbleheads are ready, all lined up, all in agreement. Let's start this thing. Braves and Marlins. This would be game 2. It's a brief 2-game series. Marlins winners last night by a score of 8-4. Atlanta's lineup. Brian Snitker, the manager of the Braves. It's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Ender Inciarte, Dansby, Swanson, and Freddie Freeman. Nick Markakis against the Marlins, good. And against Tom Kohler, very good as well. Brandon Phillips, couple doubles last night. Adonis Garcia is at third. Tyler Flowers, Chase Peterson gets a start in left. And Jaime Garcia, the former Cardinal, will hit ninth. And here is Kohler making his second start of the season.
Yeah, good first start of the season. Cut short by rain. He was in a good groove, good pitches. You saw his fastball command. Want to see that again tonight. Kind of pick up where he finished in that last start.
Kohler to Inciarte. That's Ted Barrett calling balls and strikes. Angel Hernandez at first, Lance Barksdale at second, and John Tumpane is at third base. Inciarte, last night a 1 for 5. It's a slow start for him in 2017 for all of the Braves. And remember, Atlanta opening with 3 series on the road before getting home to open up SunTrust Park for the very first time on Friday night against the San Diego Padres. 1-1 pitch. That's letter high. Inciarte doesn't like the call, and you can hear him and see him say, "That's out. That's out."
Well, Tom Kohler doing a good job in the first 3 pitches, finding out what he's going to get away with on the outside part of the plate. Watch. First strike was a pretty good one. That one a little farther outside.
And that one was up. And it's 2-2. Inciarte, the 26-year-old Venezuelan, first 2 years in Arizona. Last year, a nice year with the Braves. And a guy that they are hopeful will be their center fielder for the next 5-7 years.
Well, he had a real strong second half last year, leading off now. Good numbers against Tom Kohler, 6 for 12 in his career.
Kohler's 2-2. On the ground. Hey, that's Tyler Moore over there tonight. And Moore gets to the bag, and there's 1 out for Tom Kohler. The rest of Miami's defense tonight.
Let's take a look at Don Mattingly's defensive alignment for tonight. Ozuna out in left field, Yelich, Stanton around, Rojas, Riddle, Gordon, Moore getting the start at first base. Tonight, JT Realmuto behind the plate, Tom Kohler on the mound.
Dansby Swanson now, an 0 for 4 last night, the young shortstop. Out to center, Yelich wanders back and makes the catch. Two outs, and here is Freddie Freeman. We told you there are some Braves that have good numbers against Kohler individually. Freeman, not necessarily on that list, which is a surprise because he usually clobbers
right, just about everybody. He does have a homer against them, but none unfavorable numbers against Tom Kohler on the whole.
A 219
Correct.
in 32 at bats. But we told you about Markakis. Inciarte's got good numbers. Adonis Garcia has some good numbers as well. Kohler drops in a breaking ball for a strike. Kohler overall against the Braves, they've seen him a lot, he's seen them a lot. 13th start, 17th appearance, an ERA 3.71. Freeman fouls it off out of play.
This Braves team has got to be tired. They've been on the road since the start of the season. This is the end right here. This game right here. This is the game the Marlins want to go out and get tonight. This is getaway day for the Atlanta Braves. Sometimes a little tougher game for the players to play. Your mind starts to wander about home and think about it. I think it's a real good opportunity for the Marlins to get after them tonight.
High fastball, 1-2-3 for Tom Kohler in the first. It's underway in Miami and scoreless. of Atlanta in the top of the first. Bottom of brings Miami to the plate in this orderly fashion. It's brought to you by Southwest. D. Gordon, JT Realmuto, and Christian Yelich. Giancarlo Stanton, Marcelo Zuna. Big night last night. Tyler Moore gets his first start against the lefty Miguel Rojas. JT Riddle back in there, and Tom Kohler hits 9th. Marlin fans, heck, most baseball fans, associate Jaime Garcia with the St. Louis Cardinals, but the Braves are hoping he goes back to 2015 when he had a really nice year with the Cardinals.
Well, as they should. He only pitched for one organization before coming in Atlanta Brave this year. The St. Louis Cardinals, 8 years in the organization. I've seen lots of him in the National League Central. Good stuff. Doesn't really show splits. You see that first start, 6 innings, 4 runs. It's against the New York Mets. Kind of one of those starts that you see early on. Dominant for 4 innings and struggled in his last 2.
D. Gordon with JT Realmuto and Christian Yelich coming up here in the first. And a fastball catches the corner. Gordon, a busy night last night. 3 hits for him. Getting his average up closer to 300. Couple stolen bases this year. Had that 2-run double on Sunday in New York. That one almost clipped the elbow of Gordon.
I looked at D after the road trip and felt like saying home cooking last night. He was so locked in, using the entire field, finding the barrel repeatedly.
The 1-1 misses.
You're seeing his takes already, how much more comfortable he is in the box. And I think back to earlier last week on the road, a little bit jumpy and not feeling so good, but what getting home a lot of times will do for hitters, help you refocus, kind of get settled back in. You know where you're at in the box, and D was clearly showing that last night.
2-1 chopper, off to the races goes Gordon. Garcia in the dirt, safe is the call, but my guess is he's out. That's, for an umpire, one of the toughest calls. Any ball in the dirt on a bang-bang play, because umpires are trained and taught to watch the base and listen for the sounds. Although the ball did rattle around a bit. It looks like Freeman secured it. He did. And he's out.
And that ball could have been a little soft on that bounce right there. You're talking about it, absolutely. You're listening for the pop. It's like a bang bang that you hear at first base. And sometimes the way that ball, that short little throw right there, doesn't make the initial pop. And I think that's why he originally got the safe call.
Yeah, it disrupts the timing of the umpire and the instincts and really the fundamentals of that call at first. And D. Gordon is out. Gordon himself is trotting.
I think he was a little surprised himself.
Right. I think we feel good enough to call and project this going the Braves' way. Our exit polls indicate he's out. That was the exit poll for D. Gordon leaving first base. Let's listen to it.
We can't hear it.
You can hear the safe call, and you can hear all kinds of pop, pop. And Gordon right now is giving just a quick refresher to Christian Yelich on what he saw with the fastball from Garcia.
Well, I'll help our fans at home and give them a little bit more. You're going to see 5 pitches from Jaime Garcia tonight. 2-seam fastball, 4-seam fastball, 90, 92 miles an hour. He throws a cutter. By some, it'll be defined as a slider, curveball, and changeup. He's about mixing pitches. His last time out did not have a very good slider and really struggled with hitters with 2 strikes. So keep an eye on that tonight.
Realmuto takes in. JT, of course, the reigning National League Player of the Week, a 1 for 4 last night. Has a couple homers, has a double, has a triple. Fouls that one back and out of play. Marlins with a win last night, got themselves to 4-3. So getting their nose above 500. But the teams atop the East also won. Washington 5-3. The Mets 5-3. Of course, the Mets hit 7 homers last night. Their win in Philly.
That game last night, so much. We were talking about Cespedes during the ball game ourselves. 3 home runs he hit. Lucas Duda hit a couple. He hit 7 home runs. 20 hits in that ball game for the Mets.
(3-1), a bullet, foul. A nice play by the youngster down the line. So the count 3-2. Garcia, a guy that has battled through a lot of issues. Most of them have to do with his left shoulder. Labrum surgery in 2013. And when that didn't work in 2014, thoracic outlet syndrome surgery. But when he was on the mound, Todd, he was very, very good. His career numbers, 62-46, and an ERA of 3.58. That's very good.
It's never been the issue. It's more Jaime Garcia. It's what the St. Louis Cardinals always wanted, was more Jaime Garcia. Unfortunately, injuries continued to derail him. I mean, he would get back. He'd start to get into a rhythm, and then he would get shut down with an injury, and he'd come back. It was just an unfortunate pattern that he fell into. And to your point, 2015 really got everybody dreaming again on what he could be. This is kind of the story that's been chasing him for some time.
Now Yelich, and you got Real Muto at first, and that first base hole is open. Freeman holds the runner. Yelich lines it left center field. It hangs up, and a sliding catch by Jace Peterson, who's more accustomed to playing in the infield than he is the outfield. That one hung up just long enough for Peterson to get there. Now Stanton, and you see his numbers against Garcia. Let's go back to that home run. Dead center. Disappeared into the bushes. And that was before the dimensions were changed. That's the old wall.
415 line drive right there. Be the second most impressive home run I've seen him hit.
I could not even begin to tell you a list of the most impressive home runs I've seen.
And I'm sure you have it, but from being outside, being an outsider to being an insider now, so many people still talk about the home run he hit down the right field line against the Chicago Cubs. I think it was about 2 seasons ago. It felt like it was about 10 feet off the ground, and he hit it 360, 70 feet the other way. You just don't do that. It's almost breaking the rules of what baseball players are capable of actually doing.
As well as Stan swung the bat on the road trip, especially in New York, he was 0 for 3 last night with 3 strikeouts. So trying to dial it back in here tonight. Outfield straight up and deep. Garcia trying to get him to chase, and it's now 3-0.
Well, that's a great sign right there. You talked about last night what happened. 3 strikeouts, walked his first at bat, but that's a 2-0 changeup over the plate but down in the zone. That is a go zone for most hitters, and when you're kind of finding your swing, to lay off that pitch is a great sign.
Let's see if he's got the green light and he gets something to hit. Well, he had the green light. That was a pretty good running fastball.
I think both guys huffed up a little bit right there. That's what you get to see. See it trying to stay away. A little running fastball, as you said, but Giancarlo Stanton, boy, he let it loose.
Good swing, good pitch. 3-1 coming. And he fights off another fastball. Garcia at 90 miles an hour, and the count 3-2.
Well, that's a sneaky fastball. You watch, he's got a good shoulder turn, hides the ball pretty well. Jaime Garcia fastball, it'll act like a 94, 95 mile an hour fastball to hitters sometimes because he's got that good turn. You don't pick him up particularly well.
So Real Muto will be on his way. He'll get a head start from first. 3-2. Fastball up. Stanton takes his walk. That's a good sign as well. And that brings up Marcell Ozuna before he digs in. Here's the Braves defensively.
You mentioned it. Jace Peterson already a nice catch in the ballgame. He got the start tonight in left field. Inciarte in center. Markakis in right. Garcia, Swanson, Phillips, and Freeman. Tyler Flowers behind the plate. Jaime Garcia pitching for the Braves.
So here is Marcell Ozuna, 2 for 2. That just begins to tell the story of last night. 2 homers, 6 driven in, a 3-run and a 2-run homer and a sacrifice fly. And Todd, as you diagrammed on Marlins Live, it was a case of not trying to do too much on both of those swings.
Well, Marcell Ozuna is in such a good place. You're thinking, you hear people talk about hitters being guess hitters. We're all guess hitters. We're all thinking along with the pitcher and looking for particular pitches and spots. And right now, he's looking for his pitch, he's getting it and not missing it. It's the key to success in the batter's box.
Missed that changeup.
You may fool him with some speed, but when he's looking, and really it's been the dead red, most importantly. 2 strikes. I continue to talk about it. It's something I harp on so much. He's been so good with 2 strikes. What is he doing? Looking to go the other way. Ahead in the count, he might look to pull a little bit. You can pull the string on him a little bit. All in all, he has been locked in since the start of the season.
Ozuna, one of those guys too. It's always interesting to see how defenses shift him, if they do shift him. The outfield's pretty much straight up. The infield a bit towards third. You can see Swanson towards the hole.
Well, that tells you that he's obviously going to pull the ball. They believe he's going to pull the ball on the ground. That's a little bit of respect for Jaime Garcia's changeup down. Think maybe he might get out in front of it and pull it on the ground. But in the air, they're playing him straight away.
2-1 pitch. And Ozuna, good take there, just above the hands. And it's 3-1. Garcia raised in Mission, Texas. He was born in Reynosa, Mexico. Cardinal draft pick all the way back in 2005 as a teenager. Ozuna. And the count full. Everybody will be running here.
See Garcia, a couple of tough spots to a couple of big hitters. Has gone to that 2-seam fastball. See him try that one more time.
Realmuto running. Stanton running on a 3-2 pitch. Which will be the 23rd pitch of the first inning for Garcia. 3-2. Jam shot, little dribbler out towards Phillips. And he lobs it on over to first. Miami leads 2. An inning is passed, it's scoreless.
special Wednesday edition of a Twitter and Email Tuesday, and we've got a fun topic for you tonight. We want to know how you spent your off season. Where did you go? What did you do in the months leading up to the start of baseball? Send your tweets to @FoxMarlins. Your emails can go to foxmarlins@gmail.com. And we have already got a good one from a couple of servicemen in the Palm Beach Gardens community. They had the chance to meet Tom Kohler during the offseason. They were also working hard. So thank you guys for your commitment to serving our community, and very cool that you had a chance to meet TK.
All right, thank you, Jessica. Of course, Tom Kohler's father, Rolf, a first responder in New York. There's how to find us. @FoxMarlins is the Twitter handle. And it's the very first Twitter night for Todd Hollandsworth. This is Nick Markakis, and he grounds one by Moore. We told you that Markakis has hurt Tom Kohler in the past, and he does it here. Markakis is now 11 for 18 against Kohler.
Yeah, there's a little ownership there, but you believe it, and you think it, and you expect it. And when you get numbers like that against certain individuals, you get to the ballpark that day and you believe that no matter what happens in batting practice, that the results will be there, and that's usually the way it goes.
What was the great Tommy Lasorda rant about Kurt Bavacqua? If I knew I was facing Bavacqua, I'd have sent a limo
for him, right?
To make sure he got to the ballpark. Of course, there were a few bleeps along the way.
Always.
But you get the idea. Phillips, little tapper, Riddle charges out there, relay out there. Boy, Brandon Phillips bounces into a slow evolving double play, not by the turn, but by the velocity off the bat. That was not well hit at all.
No. You see Riddle gets a nice job coming in and getting that ball. You think back to yesterday, kind of laid back on one, not right there. Gets it to D real quick. Gets the throw across to Moore. Brandon Phillips kind of Fred Flintstoned it a little bit out of the box. That happens sometimes. Your feet start to move. You pick them up and you're not really moving forward. It almost looks like it right there. Marlins able to pick up the double play.
That's a verb. Fred Flintstoned it, huh?
Yeah. You've got me now. A week and a half in, right?
I like it.
Kind of. I don't make words up. You know, I just add things to them. Turn them into phrases.
Adonis Garcia swings and misses. Garcia 1 for 4 last night, knocked in a run. So @FoxMarlins is our Twitter handle. We expect good representation tonight. Pitch misses outside. And it's 2-1. Kohler 5 innings, a run, 4 hits before rain stopped his effort in Washington. He'd given up an Adam Eaton home run, and that was it.
Second batter of the ball game. Really got into a rhythm with his secondary pitches. Had a few, the 3 walks in the ball game. Remember, 2 of them were intentional. So again, that was picking and choosing your spots. And you see that right there. 71 pitches, very efficient. They definitely had something left in the tank. And when Tom Kohler, when the rain started to come, had that look on his face of, I have got more to go.
Riddle is there. The liner from Garcia finds leather. And Tom Kohler's faced the minimum through 2. Everybody buzzing, not only around here, but in the baseball world. The adventures of the Rally Cat. Ah, look out. The Rally Cat was not going to be stopped. In fact, up the fence he went. And for today only, the Marlins are offering 30% off lower level seats in the baseline reserve seating area to any game this weekend, including all 4 games against the Mets. So 30% off lower level seats against the Mets. And this is in honor of the Rally Cat's 3-inning visit last night. Just enter a coupon code MEOW, M-E-O-W. Tyler Moore fouls it off.
I'm hoping for another visit tonight. Why not?
So when you log on to buy your tickets, there's a coupon code MEOW. Well, look, I mean, we've already been inundated all day on social media with bad cat puns, looking for nicknames. In fact, I think just in searching through the Twitter feed, Jack suggests Jeff Conine Lives.
Yeah, believe me, I'm as guilty as the next. I've been throwing them out left and right. It seems too easy to do. Well done, 9 lives. I get it.
Well, but Jessica Blaylock Nully has the story of what happened to the cat after we went off air, and also some of the names, even some from the Marlins clubhouse, I would expect. Jess, what you got?
That's right. I'll give you some of the names in just a second, but a quick update on the Rally Cat. The grounds crew here at Marlins Park is spectacular. They were working hard last night to get the field ready for today's game. They spotted Rally Cat, tried to track him down, but as we saw last night, he is elusive. So he was able to get away. I'm convinced he's hanging out in those bushes behind center field, and maybe we will spot him again tonight. But as far as some names go, I do love that one. Jeff Conine Lives, that's a good one. Of course, we've seen Don Pattingly, Mike Hill weighing in today. He said that his favorite so far is Jose Fernandez, or Jose Hernandez, because he said the cat reminded him of what Jose would have done. He would have come out onto the field and made a spectacle. He would have soaked in all of the cheering. So right now, looks like leader in the clubhouse is Jose Fernandez, or Jose Hernandez.
Well, the bad puns really started last night like an avalanche on the postgame show, right? I mean, Marlins Live.
Cat naps and all sorts of different things, yeah.
We got Rojas is up right now. Rojas 3 for 10 on the season, gets the start at third base. Martin Prado getting some at bats in the minor leagues tonight, and the Marlins are hopeful that by the weekend they'll know whether they can activate him and maybe play on Sunday and have him in the lineup Monday night in Seattle.
Well, at the stage of the recovery, you want to make sure he's 100%. This isn't, you know, one where you're at, if we get him back at 92% or 95%, we'll be satisfied. Now, you want to make sure this is long gone, never to be talked about again when you get him back out on the big league field.
0-2 is a fastball down low from Garcia. JT Riddle will follow. Rojas in the 7 spot. Of course, Adeiny Echeverria also on the disabled list for Miami. He's about 10 days away. Derek Dietrich with the lefty on the mound tonight gets the night off. We've had a few tweets wanting to know where Dietrich is tonight. Little roller to third. Garcia across the diamond in time to get Rojas. And Riddle steps in, looking for that first major league hit. Was 0 for 4 last night.
Good at bats last night. There's a strikeout in there, but early in the ballgame had good passes against Bartolo Colon. Got some good fastballs, fouled off a couple tough pitches.
University of Kentucky. Hope you had a chance to see Craig and Riddle on Marlins Live pregame. Garcia just pumping in fastballs right now.
Commanding both sides of the plate, using the 2-seamer, the 4-seamer, working to both sides, both lefties and righties. So he has definitely hit a rhythm here in the second inning.
That rolls down the third base line. It's fair, and he's safe. And that is the wackiest first hit I've ever seen in the big leagues. On a check swing on a ball that looked like it almost bounced. And it rolls down the line, and Riddle has a hit.
I should have said what I was thinking, and I didn't. And I had a feeling about this at bat, but good to see.
Now, wait a minute.
Let's make sure. Indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Safe. There it is.
His dad was waiting for that replay just to breathe a sigh of relief.
Look at it, stay fair down the third base line. Little hesitation out of the box, but a little hesitation by everybody, so we'll call it even. Garcia has to go to the bare hand right there, and not enough on the throw. Congratulations to JT Riddle. It's a big moment.
Hey, there it is. To see the smile on Dan's face, starting to text the buddies. Kohler swings and misses. Your first hit. Here's another look.
Same direction for me, same direction against John Burkett. Double to left down the left field line. Line drive double over the third baseman's head, kind of similar to that.
Could you feel your feet as you were running to second?
It took me like a half a second.
Kohler lifts one into center. Inciarte, a diving catch in center field. Ender Inciarte, terrific play, and a nice moment for JT Riddle, first major league hit. Doubles down the left field line. Every now and then you got to have a dribble. I mean, Giancarlo Stanton's first hit was kind of a fizzling ground ball as well. And so welcome to the club. JT Riddle, and Craig Minervini is with his family.
Yeah, first I want to get Mom's reaction, the first hit. Now her eyes are going large. What was your thought there? He got his first major league hit.
I just wanted him to hit the ball. I was kind of worried, but we'll call it a hit, I guess.
Your sister.
Yes.
What'd you think?
I thought it was a crazy hit.
But it found the grass. Now, Buddy, his stepdad, you've been his coach really for his whole life. He was telling us in every sport. Is that how you envisioned the first hit?
No, but we will take it. No, that's not the way I envisioned it, but we will take that right there.
Absolutely, because one rule in baseball, a hit is a hit.
Yes.
And to get that first one out of the way, how about the energy and excitement from last night that you all experienced watching him play?
It was wonderful. It really was. Some people had asked me if it was things that, you know, if it was what we thought it would be, but I don't think you can imagine that when your kid takes that first major league field.
What moments stick out from that? Was it the announcement, walking out to the field, hearing his name over the PA?
Honestly, just seeing him go on the field, knowing how long he's worked for it to get to this point, and just seeing him out there with the other guys.
And, you know, I'm sure there's a personal gratification having worked with him so much. See that ball off for Rojas, recovering, and gets the out.
Yeah, it is a gratification to see it there, but, you know, it was like he told you all in the interview last night. The big thing was when it was all said and done after being here, they won the game, his first game here. So, you know, that's what he's about. It's about the team getting the win first and everything.
All right, but the Cats stole the headline last night. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
All right, thanks a lot. Good seeing the family here, guys. Let's go back to you.
All right, nicely done. And I suspected that it did bounce. That last replay clearly shows the ball bouncing. It's a live ball. Anything in the dirt, if it bounces and hits you in the leg, it's a hit by pitch. If it bounces and you make contact, ball's in play.
Well, I'm going to compare him to a soon-to-be Hall of Famer and Vladimir Guerrero. I watched him do this countless times. He was that good. I hope that JT Riddle has the type of career that Vladimir Guerrero ends up did have, Hall of Fame type of career. He ends up having those types of numbers. He will have a very, very nice run.
Bouncer, Gordon sliding, and it sneaks through, and Jace Peterson is aboard with a one-out single here in the first. All right, let's throw out the ceremonial first email of the season, shall we? It's from Sean. Hey, Rich. Hey, Todd. Wanted to ask, there's a new Major League rule change on defensive markings. Now that rule in effect, I believe since the Dodgers, one of the teams in the outfield that were putting marks out, actually spray painting marks.
They were lasering it in and then putting marks on the field, correct.
And that's gone away. Now remember, Perry Hill is the guy that used to put marks in for his infielders. And Sean wants to know, how does that impact the way Perry Hill handles the defense? I actually talked to him about this last week, and he said, yeah, they used to put actual little marks and pound stuff into the ground. He said now what he's done is he'll get to the field a little earlier. He's got his spot set up exactly right on the tape mark that has the bone sign on it. And he'll have an infielder go out there and he'll line up the marks and make little notes, and so he knows exactly where the guy wants to be. So early in an inning or during the course of an inning, he can very quickly look out, see the spot, and move the infield.
It's a little bit more natural. That's all. The rule last year, it was kind of keeping up with the high tech, if you will, with the lasers and the ability to put marks on the field. It's just going back to old school again. Those are the same rules that were in play before. We want you here. You'll watch even the defenders put little marks in the grass or little marks in the dirt where they're supposed to be on certain individuals, and those marks don't go away. It's just, again, they're not the marks that you can see so clearly.
Now the best story I've got about Perry Hill's marks, and of course he's had a lot of Gold Glovers, maybe none better than Louis Castillo, and Louis really loved having those marks. There's a bunt, and Rojas going to get the out at first base. Well, remember, after Louis won, what, 3 Gold Gloves here in Miami, Louis ended up going to the Minnesota Twins. And Louis got up there for spring training, and the season was about to start. Perry Hill's phone rang, and it was Louis Castillo saying, Perry, where are the marks? There's no marks in the American League.
Right. Where am I supposed to stand?
Where am I supposed to stand?
Perry, one of the best in the game, respected by so many people.
We have in this building maybe the 2 best infield instructors in all of baseball.
Agreed.
Because Ron Washington is on the Braves staff of Brian Snitker. Washington is the third base coach. He's out there right now. He's kind of been an American League guy, while Perry has been a National League guy.
You and I were having this conversation last week. We were like, you've got 2 of the 3, and maybe we come up with the third Jose Akendo, but that was like our top 3, and we agreed upon that. So to your point, 2 of the best in the building tonight.
And a lot of respect from one to the other. Inciarte with Peterson the runner at second. Kohler's been sharp. And he misses out. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. So Sean, thanks for having the first email of the season. A lot of cat emails as well.
Why am I not surprised?
Michael from Las Vegas wanted to know what happened to the cat, and he's not talking about Andres Galarraga, who hit the longest home run at then Sun Life Park, right field. That's hit deep. Stanton's back at the wall, and it's gone. And Ender Inciarte's first homer of the season gives Atlanta a 2-0 lead.
Inciarte came into tonight's ball game with good numbers against Tom Kohler. Felt pretty good about that secondary pitch he got out over the plate. Let's take a look at it again. It's a changeup out right down the middle of the plate. It leaks. You see where JT Realmuto wanted that pitch and where that pitch ended up, at the thighs, out over the plate. Inciarte stays through it, drives it out over the right field wall.
Dansby Swanson now has flied out. The Braves with a couple of runs. Gordon out, Stanton in. And Stanton makes the catch. But Ender Inciarte provides Atlanta a 2-0 cushion. And the Braves have a 2-0 lead. If you can't catch the games live on television, you can stream them on your mobile device, Fox Sports Go. Just download the app, take Fox Sports Florida and Marlins baseball with you wherever you go. Top of the order, and the second time through for Miami against Jaime Garcia. Marlins have had 3 base runners, couple walks, and Riddle's infield hit. Gordon hit a high chopper and was thrown out by a whisker. There's a strike. Auto Nation brings you a scouting report on Garcia. 5-pitch mix, fiery guy. Born in Mexico, raised in Mission, Texas. Gordon lines it in the gap, and it falls for a hit. Inciarte got a piece of it. Gordon didn't slow down, and he ends up at second with a double.
Rich, I hope we're developing a theme, a nightly theme of me saying to you, little things matter. Don Mattingly preached it in spring training. You see it right here. Great piece of hitting. breaking ball out over the plate, but that's not what's so impressive. Watch D. Gordon. He's anticipating fast out of the box. As soon as he sees that ball down and Inciarte back up in order to keep it in front of him, he says, this is a double. I'm going all the way.
So Gordon's in scoring position. Now the Marlins will try to get him over, get him in. We got Real Muto, Yelich, and Stanton all lined up to try to do that. JT walked in the first. Sends that one out towards Inciarte, and he's got it on the run. He covers a lot of ground in the outfield. Inciarte in center field. And of course, last year a Gold Glove winner for the Braves. Marlins and Mets. Now remember, it's a 4-game series. On Saturday at 7:10, first 10,000 get a 2017 wall calendar. Of course, it's the opening week fireworks show. Marlins.com for tickets. Now Yelich, he lined in the gap in left center. Been some good plays in the outfield for the Braves. Peterson, Inciarte.
Both got good breaks on balls, able to close. That's what's been so impressive on both of those balls that you're talking about. The ability to close once they realize that the ball is going to stay in front of them.
And defense has been an issue for the Braves in this stumble of a start. The Braves are 1-6, and they've lost 5 straight.
7 errors in the last 4 ball games coming into tonight.
Love Jeff Conine breaking down the opposite field swinging of the Marlins last night. Video on Yelich and Ozuna, especially Justin Bour as well.
Did a great job explaining how it starts in your mind, it starts with your thought, and then you see the tracking of the baseball. You see it right here. Christian Yelich, watch the line that he is on right there with his head and his bat. Stays through the zone, but allows that ball to get a little bit deeper so that he can stay on it and hit it off the barrel the other way. Just to understand that, if he would have been out in front, we talked about it with the barrel, that would have been a ground ball to the second baseman.
You have to have a lot of confidence. Mike Pagliarulo, the hitting coach for the Marlins. And a lot of guts and a lot of patience to let the ball travel that deep. Good pitch by Garcia on 3-1. Count full now on Yelich. It's 3-2.
Continues to use that two-seamer down in the zone. Both the lefties and the righty. That's the one spot he's willing to go. It's a borderline pitch. He's been getting some of the calls tonight, but not all of them. But that is his go-to spot so far.
Yelich chases, ball caroms around behind. Gordon's on his way to third, and he's going to get there as Yelich is thrown out. You rarely see Christian Yelich chase a pitch like that, but Garcia got him on the breaking ball, and so it's Stanton with Gordon at third. That's all that's left of this inning.
You're going to see him. It's a slider. He's going to bury it in the dirt, and it's certainly catching the attention of Marlins hitters. Think Riddle's base hit was on the exact same pitch. It bounced when he checked his swing. He buried it down and was able to get the swing and miss against Christian Yelich.
All right, a tweet from Dan. Dan has noticed, he says, He's noticed Stanton's front shoulder flies open on a majority of his swings. Are the hitting coaches actively working with him on this? And what do you see, Todd?
Well, there's an inconsistency with that, and I have seen it at times, but I haven't seen it all the time. Think back a couple games. I think it was game 2 in New York. He had 3 base hits up the middle the other way. That night in particular, he was great with his shoulder. Stayed through the baseball, was driving it the other way, and he's shown that also in Washington, D.C. So there have been some moments where I've wondered about that, but part of what I believe it's how he is approaching it. You're actually seeing it when he's flying a little bit. It's what he's looking for.
Stanton drives it left field deep. Back goes Peterson at the wall, leaps, gone! Top of the wall, and a tie game.
Kept his front shoulder in long enough on that one.
First of the season for Stanton. That's about as high as you can hit a ball without it hitting something up on the roof.
See the numbers in Marlins Park, tons and tons of success. Comes into tonight's ball game 5 for 8, as you said, against Jaime Garcia. Now 6 for 9 with 2 home runs.
Ozuna dribbles it up the line. Garcia safe. Ozuna beats it. Back to Stanton.
Let's see it one more time. That's the slider that you just saw bounce. This one stays out over the plate just a little bit. Giancarlo Stanton gets the extension that he's looking for. He knows what he did. And he's got a feel. He knows that power. Not where he wanted it.
And the funny thing watching that video, look how long it took for the ball to come down, because Stanton left the picture.
Well,
and Garcia spun around. He first thought it was out, then he thought it wasn't going out, and then you could see him react.
Rich, it's what you call excuse me power, and he possesses it. Giancarlo Stanton does not have to hit a ball, as most major leaguers will tell you. That, they're looking to barrel up. Giancarlo Stanton will probably tell you, I didn't barrel up that baseball, but he has the kind of power that so many others covet, and the ability to hit the ball out of the yard when he doesn't hit it off the sweet spot. And I think you just witnessed it right there. He'll probably tell you he got it off the end of the bat.
Tyler Moore struck out his first time up. He takes a strike there. It's 1-1.
How do I know? If he'd hit that off the barrel, I think it would have been up on the Budweiser porch.
Yes, I'm in agreement with you on that. We've seen him hit it over the Budweiser sign.
I'm looking forward to that.
You will see some things you've never seen before.
I hope so.
Go to first. Another quick email from Seattle. Coro just wanted to say great work so far by Todd. Enjoy his analysis. His prep work is obvious. His contribution to the broadcast is appreciated. And that's from Coro in Seattle. Wait a minute.
Very kind. I appreciate that.
Did you go to high school in the Seattle area? Bellevue?
Mm-hmm. What are you saying?
Just saying.
You're saying I put in a ringer?
Maybe a buddy, maybe a high school buddy that owes you a favor. I don't know.
Right.
A Newport Knight, right?
That's correct.
Newport High School in Bellevue, Washington.
Right of the Knights.
And you'll be close to home next week. Come Monday, Marlins and Mariners on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Ozuna's at first. There's 2 outs. Moore cracks one to center. Inciarte in, now back, and he reaches up and makes the catch. That was close, almost got over his head. This one was over everybody's head. Giancarlo Stanton is a big man. His first homer of the season. does a lot of cool stuff. Usually you hear this in football with punters. Hang time.
Is this long enough for me to take a cat nap?
Oh, stop that, will you?
I can't stop myself.
That's almost 7 seconds.
That's a long time.
It's almost 7 seconds in the air. Back to work for Tom Kohler. Freddie Freeman leads it off for Atlanta, and he takes outside. Top 4, 2-2 ball game. A couple of 2-run homers in Ciarte and Stanton. All right, an email from Glad. Here's a 2-0 first. Freeman launches one foul and out of play. My 95-year-old mother loves baseball, watches the games from her room at a nursing home in which she lives. She has very little vision, so she cannot see the small inning numbers on the television. So the little score bug in the right corner, she can't see that. She would appreciate it if you would simply say the inning once in a while. So it's a great reminder. So we are in the top of the 4th. It's 2-2. And we'll try to do a better job of that for you. And thanks for watching.
Certainly can do my part.
In the air, right center field. That's hit a long, long way. And that is gone. Freddie Freeman exits Marlins Park. Number 3 for Freeman. They've all been solo shots.
One of the Braves' hottest hitters so far this season. Lost Matt Kemp with a hamstring injury. Freddie Freeman, the biggest power threat in their lineup right now. He's going to get one in the happy zone. With the 2-seam fastball out over the plate. Great extension. Freddie Freeman always seems to get that kind of extension. Tremendous power to center and to left center field. Displayed it right there.
Now Markakis, who singled in the 2nd. We talked about his numbers individually against Kohler. Now 11 for 18. Hasn't homered against him. We did homer last night. Barbara has this email. Hope you can help me out. She says, I'm trying to remember the name of the good pitcher the Marlins had a couple years ago. Suddenly at the beginning of the season, he had to have Tommy John surgery, trying to find out if he's still with the Marlins organization. Always enjoyed watching him, his unique style of delivering the pitch. Well, that's a clue right there that it's Carter Capps she's talking about. Capps now property of the San Diego Padres, member of the Padres organization. Still coming back from that arm surgery. Still has that unique delivery. That's in, and Markakis walks. And Kohler wobbling here. A homer and a walk to open up the 4th. Attention, all of you with ill intent. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority. The Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Counts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Brandon Phillips now. The Dodgers and the Cubs are going to play tonight eventually. It looks like the Cubs ring ceremony is finally about to end after about what seemed like 2 hours.
Well, 108 years. I think they would be their answer to your question.
Yeah, quite a moment at Wrigley Field, that's for sure. Runner goes. Real Muto's throw on the money. My goodness. Fastest pop time in baseball. And that's a great illustration of that. He throws out Markakis.
Braves put a few runners in motion last night, trying a little bit again tonight. You see JT Realmuto, great throw, great release right there. I love where he puts the ball. It's not on the bag. It's just inside the baseline. You see D. Gordon able to drop the knee down and cut Markakis off before he gets there. Fantastic job on both ends.
Breaking ball and a strike to Phillips. Phillips active last night for sure. Not only a couple of doubles, but some stolen bases. And for Phillips, a milestone for him. Stolen base number 200 of his career. And the second one was 201. Braves are hoping he's got more left in the tank. On the ground, and a throw to first. Some lights in the building flashed and went out. There was a power hit here at Marlins Park just before that pitch arrived. A bank of lights out in left field is dimmed. Watch the shift.
Ooh. Well, that is not a glitch. The lights actually went out.
I'll tell you what, if I'm Brandon Phillips, I'm asking for a replay on that, because I don't know that there's any rule that covers that in the middle of the pitch, but obviously the umpires now, with the lighting compromised for the moment, are going to go to both managers. Don Mattingly is probably waiting to hear from Marlins Park officials as to what they see or what happened. Brian Snitker looking out. You can see those banks of lights. There are some lights in there that are out. And we are told also in our production truck there was a power surge of sorts. This is the, yep, that was our RoboCam. It came back after that little surge. Snitker and Ted Barrett discussing things, and initially it looked like Brian Snitker was lobbying for a do-over for Brandon Phillips on that pitch. Well, as everybody knows in South Florida, when it rains and you get some lightning and stuff happens. Stuff happens. That's why I told Todd Hollinsworth when he plugged in his MacBook here, use a surge protector.
Sorry, apologize. Do my MacBook, but not my MacBook and my iPhone, just one. We have some thunderstorms in the area.
Braves bench. You can see them react as well. That gentleman in street clothes that was on the field, Claude Delorme, who is the vice president of baseball or of building operations here at Marlins Park. He was instrumental in the design of this ballpark as well. Nobody knows this place better than that man, who did a marvelous job in the first the design and then the construction, and now the upkeep, so to speak. Umpires are at home plate. The infield has left the field. The outfielders are still out there. I don't think they saw the infielders go in. And you can see it's a bit darker than normal here. All right, Todd Hollinsworth, I'll ask you as a former Major League player, if they're not able to bring all the lights back in, is this enough light to play in?
It's a good question. I generally would say yes, but I think everybody has to be in agreement, and it's one of those questions that has to be asked to both managers and even the players. It's one of those things where you don't see it traditionally. I mean, it does seem like it's a little darker in the building, which it is. But unless you're on the field, I mean, these are things you run into in the minor leagues all the time. Around some of the smaller cities with all the storms in the summertime, you would run into this stuff all the time in the minor leagues, and sometimes you did, sometimes you didn't. Some of that was based on the weather, some of it wasn't, but I think you kind of get a sense of what can happen here in these situations.
Well, you're in a ticklish spot in the game for both managers because they don't want to burn the rest of the night for their starters,
right? For
Tom Kohler or for Jaime Garcia. Both managers want another 2+ innings out of their starter. And of course, the Braves have the lead now by a score of 3-2.
Well, what typically happens, and the Braves would, because of what's happened, I know that there's a stop and it's not about being fair, but if you do start, it does seem like maybe the lights are coming on a little bit right now. But if you do start under the same circumstances you start, then it becomes who's hitting, and making sure that it goes both ways, if you understand what I'm saying. If you were to start under these circumstances right now with the lights out, they're going to stay off for an entire inning, and then it would have to be the top of the next inning that you could actually make it or get it back to what it's supposed to be, so it is fair as well.
I know we have rain delay programming. I don't think we have power delay programming. It's not at our fingertips.
Go look for the cat if you want.
I think the cat is loose on the streets of Miami. Let's check in with Jessica Blaylock. Jess?
And email Wednesday here at Marlins Park. So, hey, we can fill some time taking a look at some tweets and some emails. How about this one from Mr. Dimples, who said that he finally accomplished an exciting goal during the offseason. He got to meet Rich Waltz. He posted a picture on Twitter of you, Rich, and he and his family.
There you go.
Said that was a great meeting. It looks like that was from February 12th. That might have been Fan Fest here at Marlins Park, which, as you know, Rich, was a spectacular event. You and I both had the opportunity to spend some time with a lot of Marlins fans. What a great day to get ready for the start of the season.
I'll tell you what, meeting Mr. Dimples was interesting because he's been a longtime emailer. He always participates on email and Twitter Tuesdays, and to finally meet Mr. Dimples was fun. Good family.
That's very
too.
cool. That's very cool. And I love when we have the opportunity to talk with Marlins fans. The Fish family is so fantastic. I'm hanging over with some of the fans that come to almost every game in this section behind left field. Marlins fans are some of the best fans in baseball. When we have the opportunity to interact with them, guys, it's always fun. And I had a very good time at FanFest. Had the opportunity to take a ton of pictures, talk to a lot of Marlins fans, and there was a lot of excitement about getting the season started.
All right, Jess, they've just announced that the game will be resumed in 15 minutes. And I assume that's the time it takes for the lights to come back up at full strength. So a 15-minute delay as rain falls outside in Miami, inside. We'll dig into some emails. Got some good ones. So we've got stuff to entertain you folks. Maybe no cats, but we'll do our best. Infield with the Marlins. The infielders right away headed to the dugout. The outfielders are hanging out and having themselves a good time out in center field. Claude Delorme, Vice President of Stadium Operations, with the umpires looking up at the lights. If you're just joining us, Rich Waltz, Todd Hollinsworth, Jessica Blaylock here as well. We have had a power surge which has knocked out some of the lights here at Marlins Park. We've been told those lights are operational and are being powered up, and it will take between 10 and 15 minutes. Yeah, see the difference in the lights?
That's full bank. See, it's interesting to me how how it's not like a row goes out. It's almost like every other one kind of turned off.
Well, it's one of the great mysteries of life, isn't it?
How the lights work.
Welcome back up into the booth. All right, it's your first night of social media and emails. A lot of people tonight, part of the theme is what I did on my off season. Now for you, your off season was a busy one. First, you covered the Cubs, right? You pre and post television for the Chicago Cubs. You have that long-standing radio show on XM and the Major League channel as well. So your off season must have been great in October, and then things really changed for you come November.
It sped up real quick. It was, it was interesting. Had the extended season, the postseason run with the Cubs, and was traveling with the team with the Game 7 in Cleveland, and getting to experience all of that was a true joy. Obviously, for a city and a fan base that waited a very, very long time for it to happen. Tonight, actually, as you mentioned, I believe the ring ceremony at Wrigley Field. A little downtime, and then cranked it right back up again. Obviously got into some contract negotiations with the Marlins and Fox. And here I am. I moved a family of 6. My beautiful family. Mars has been an absolute all-star so far over the last 3 months. Think about this. Right around Christmas time. Now, we went on vacation right after we had come to terms. And so right about January 1st, bought a house, sold a house, moved a family of 6, plugged them into school, and here I am. I mean, all in about 90 days.
Wow. And the secret to her success is the fact that she dresses this guy.
She does. That is a fact. She does a very good job.
I've been battered on social media with the fact that you have been out dressing me regularly, which is fine. I'm good with that.
Well, he knows you're not competing with me.
Well, Preston Wilson used to outdress me all the time anyway. So.
Well, there's no doubt Preston is a fan. I can't do this myself. My clothes are, I'm not kidding, my clothes are laid out for me. That's the way it works.
All right,
couldn't do this.
You want to dive into some more emails?
Let's do it.
And see what we've got. Fish at Bat, we were talking about what you did in your off season. Went to Taiwan, watched a TV segment about Wei-In Chen, and actually sent a nice little shot of it there. Tom Kohler in the dugout trying to stay loose. And I love the guy who, and we read it just before the home run, Dan noticing that Stanton's shoulder was opening up. You kind of went in and gave your analysis, and lo and behold, Stan hits one 400 feet to left field.
It was a great question, a combination of both, because if you've been watching Stanton all season, which is a week's worth of games, you've seen good and you've seen some, loose front shoulder at times, and that swing right there, the front shoulder stayed in just long enough to get the extension that he was looking for on that slider. Jaime Garcia, 85 miles an hour, boom. You see Giancarlo Stanton reach just a little bit, but it's got so much power, able to get it out.
All right, another email. And this is just to prove that we don't just pull these out of our socks, so to speak. Here's this email here.
It's a good name for a cat, socks.
It's a good shot. All right, welcome to South Florida, Todd. Last year, Don Mattingly insisted all players be clean-shaven. This year, many are sporting beards. Is this a player revolt? Did Don just decide to ease up on the rule, or did something else happen to assist with the change? And it was a tweak in a rule. Don Mattingly said going into the offseason, hey, look, we've been through a lot as a team. I know we had the clean-shaven look last year. As long as it's kept neat and it doesn't get out of hand, we'll go back to that.
And I agree with that. And it's not just a baseball thing. You look around professional sports today, so many players, sporting the beards and, the facial hair. And I think it's an expression of personality, and I love it. And I think it's part of today's player. So many players do this, as I said, in so many different sports. But the key, I'm not a big fan of just kind of, well, no offense, Jason Worth, but that thing's ridiculous, if you know what I mean. It looks like it's been growing for about 4 years untouched. as you keep it clean and keep it honest, I think it's all good. And I think you should be able to do that. Now, some guys, you know, Charlie Blackmon of the Colorado Rockies, center fielder, he doesn't. I mean, that thing has been growing, and he doesn't trim it. I mean, the hair's going all over the place.
Yeah, but look, I mean, let's face it. If you could swing it like Jason Worth for a little bit longer, you'd probably sport that same beard, right?
Well, I mean, I guess if I believed that the beard was the key to my success, I suppose I would sport the beard.
Did you?
I've been known for growing my hair out based on
Beard though.
No, I don't really grow a full beard. I mean, I just kind of I grow the short beard. I mean, it's certainly recognizable. But here's the deal: Mars doesn't like it.
That's the end of the conversation.
Yeah, we're done.
All right, we'll take a timeout as the Marlins and the Braves, and we wait for the lights here at Marlins Park. A Martin Prado update when we return. Update on Marlins third baseman Martin Prado. Craig?
Yeah, thank you, Rich. He's playing up in Jupiter tonight. Daytona leads 2-0 in the middle of the 7th inning. He played 5 innings over at third base, errorless baseball, went 1 for 2 at the plate. Here's what Don Mattingly laid out for us today. They're going to try to get Prado in the next 4 days, assuming everything goes well. 5 innings tonight, 5 innings tomorrow, ramping up to 7 the next 2 days. That's 4 days in a row if everything goes well. And then over the weekend, they'll make a decision. And you would have to assume that if everything does go well, maybe the Marlins will invite him back and he comes back Sunday or makes the road trip. But at least that's where they're going. He's feeling pretty good. He also said today that ADONIS Echeverria is doing much better. Tomorrow he'll probably do some tee work, some maybe throwing, cage type work. He's at the left oblique injury, and again on the 10-day DL. But the fact that he's going to go back to that kind of work already is a good sign, Don Mattingly said, in terms of getting him back. The other question, though, is when they do get these guys back, what do? Do you stay with a 4-man bench, or do you go 5-man bench and reduce a pitcher? That's a decision they'll have to make.
I think that's something. Thank you, Craig. I think that's something, Todd, that the Marlins will be gauging week to week throughout the season. Right. 4-man bench, 8-man bullpen, 7-man bullpen, 5-man bench.
Well, you start to look ahead and you think, okay, Martin Prado's coming back potentially this weekend, the next road trip. There's 2 off days on the next road trip, I believe. I know there's one for sure. I believe that there's 2. I could be wrong about that. I'll have to look at the schedule to confirm it. But again, you know, to your point, it's a week-to-week decision. And I know getting him back, I mean, what's the one thing we do know? Martin Prado's coming back and he's going to play. So, I mean, things are in a nice rhythm here. But I think things, you know, maybe what we see in the next 4 days will probably have some, you know, something to do with that decision.
All right, let's find Jessica Blaylock and see how she's holding up, see if she's got any news. What you got, Jess?
Hey, I've got a way that a couple of players spent their offseason. You know that baseball, it's a long year. Players certainly appreciate the time off, so I had a chance to catch up with a few of the guys during spring training to find out how did they spend their offseason. Baseball is such a grind, both mentally and physically. So the offseason is the perfect time for players to unwind and get away for a little bit. For Christian Yelich, traveling was a priority.
I went to Hawaii, Boston, San Diego. I had to go to a lot of weddings. My friends are getting married now, so just did that, kind of just relax, get away from, the game for a little while.
One of the weddings that Yelich attended was that of teammate JT Realmuto, whose offseason was full of big changes.
First off, I bought a house back in Oklahoma City last August, so I got to get home and fill that up with furniture, so I stayed pretty busy with that for the first half of the offseason. And then the second half, I was actually planning my wedding. So I got engaged in October and then planned a wedding and had it in February. So it was pretty busy offseason for me and very exciting.
New Marlin Brad Ziegler was focused on spending time with some of his favorite people.
I felt like this offseason I was kind of making up time with my kids. I've got a 1-year-old, a 3-year-old now. He was 2 all winter, and just time with my wife. Just trying to get those connections back and let them know that like I'm not leaving for a long period of time anymore like I did then.
For D. Gordon, the offseason was all about giving back.
I did some stuff over in the DR with striking out poverty, and I had a great time, great experience, just to help myself, in my giving to charities and things like that. So the Golden Gift sometimes is pretty cool.
And I've said this before, for JT Realmuto, who both bought a house and planned a wedding, maybe he was excited about getting back to baseball. But guys, I have a quick update for you on the power surge. We have a tweet from Eric Stevenson that answers 2 questions. Number 1, what happened? And number 2, where is the Rally Cat? Well, it looks like maybe the Rally Cat was responsible for the power surge here at Marlins Park.
Right now is the leader in the clubhouse for the best tweet of the night.
There is no doubt about it.
That's strong stuff, because we had a lot of questions wanting to know if the cat did have anything to do with the dip in lighting here. We are waiting, by the way, if you're just happening by. We're waiting for the lights to come back up to full power. They were reduced, I would say, about 25% with a power surge. You can see some of the lights that were dark have just started to illuminate. So my guess is that we're probably 4, 5, 6 minutes away from baseball. It's a social media night. Usually it's Twitter Tuesday. Opening night last night, we moved it to Wednesday. We've had a variety of questions, a lot of cat stuff. And let's dive back in. Stacy from Palm Beach is a big Ed Lucas fan, and aren't we all? And very happy to see Ed back as part of the Marlins staff. Would you recap his baseball career and let us know what he'll be doing for the Marlins? Well, first of all, Ed Lucas, just a terrific guy to begin with, and really one of those guys that in his baseball career played a lot in the minor leagues, got to the big leagues through hard work, enjoyed his time in the big leagues with the Marlins, has been hired as a administrative coach slash replay coach slash just coach as well. He's in uniform on the field during batting practice, throws batting practice, also with the coaching staff goes over scouting reports. He's one of the guys, a Dartmouth guy, and so he's one of the coaches that interprets analytics and interprets some of the advanced numbers that are in scouting reports. And maybe his most important job is he's the replay coach. So when the Marlins have a replay or a play where they're looking at the replay, it's Ed Lucas who is in there making the decision on whether to give it a challenge or I don't think so.
Yeah, and it's a lot of pressure on the job. I was talking to him about it last week. 30 seconds to make that determination. So again, jack of all trades, has got a lot of responsibilities around here, but that is, in a lot of ways, to your point, might be the most important.
All right, Stacy, that one was for you. Now, one at the very bottom, travel question for you, since you grew up in the Northwest, headed to Seattle as a fan. Anything to do in the city other than go to Safeco and watch baseball? That's from Sean.
Well, it's been a while since I've spent significant time in the city of Seattle. One thing I know, the Emerald City is about as pretty as it gets. There's a million things to do. Anything you do outside the city of Seattle is going to be fun. Boat rides, you can go down to Pike Place Market. Obviously, you can do something like that. A lot of great things to do in the city of Seattle.
I'm being told that Craig Minervini has Claude Delorme. Craig?
Yeah, thanks, Rich. Let's just get an update from the Vice President of Baseball or Stadium Operations, Claude Delorme. What happened?
Yeah, we had one of the transformers at Latin Quarter. We have 2 substations. Once the substation is hit, it automatically transfers to the secondary substation. The lights have to cool off, and then once they're cool, then they're activated again. It's about a 20-minute process. The delay was about 19 minutes from beginning to end. So this is the first time it happens during our 6 years. There's always a first.
Yeah.
We had a few close calls pre-games in our first few years, but nothing during a game itself. So glad that the guys are getting ready to get back and playing baseball.
Did you know what happened right away, which bank and what the issue was, or did that take a while?
Well, I was actually walking on the concourse, and we saw the strike, and the lighting changed pretty dramatically. So I knew I needed to get on the field as soon as possible, and then in the meantime we were getting an assessment from FPL.
What was the discussion with the umpires?
Just more in terms of timing. We just wanted to let them know approximately how much time it would take for this to cool off, and basically that I was explaining the fact that we had 2 substations. You know, certain stadiums have lights that's an automatic restrike. It's a little bit faster, but in our case, having the assurance that the second substation takes effect gives us the assurance that in our worst case that we're talking a 20-minute delay.
All right, thank you, Claude, for the insight.
Okay, thank you.
First time, guys, in this 6-year history. Take it away.
Well, lights are back up. It's going to take a little bit for Tom Kohler to loosen up for both starting pitchers. You know, for Kohler, who was on the mound when it happened, it's probably a little easier because Kohler sat on the bench almost like a between inning or a half inning break and is back out. He'll get as many warm-up tosses as he needs. 45 pitches for Kohler, and the thing that has bitten him tonight, the long ball, a 2-run homer to Ender Inciarte and a solo shot to Freddie Freeman. We'll see how Jaime Garcia deals with it when he comes back out for the bottom of the 4th inning.
Looks ready to go. Tom Kohler taking the ball, and Garcia making his way to home plate.
So the inning started with the Freeman homer. Markakis walked. He was caught stealing. Phillips, just as the power surge hit, bounced one to third. And so now about 19 minutes later, here is Garcia. He's lined out and is 0 for 1. 4 hits for both teams. 3 runs for Atlanta, 2 for Miami. And all 5 runs have scored via the home run. Bouncer to short. Riddle has it and fires to first in time. That was quick. No bump in the road for Kohler after the delay. 3-2 Atlanta. Tomorrow night, Marlins Live pregame show presented by your South Florida Honda dealers. Get you ready for the Mets. Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine. Meet the Mets, greet the Mets. Gazelman Chen matchup. Marlins just saw the Mets and took 2 of 3 in New York. They'll have to slow Mr. Cespedes down, who had 3 homers last night. Mets hit 7 as a team last night. Here tonight, Marlins Park, the lights are back up. Jaime Garcia has as many tosses as he needs, and he's ready to go. And the Marlins to try to even the score against the Braves. Tom Kohler due up 3rd this inning. Rojas, Riddle, and Kohler. Garcia walked a couple in the 1st inning, pitched around that. Gave up a leadoff double to D. Gordon and almost pitched around that, but Giancarlo Stanton with a 2-out, 2-strike homer to left center field, his 1st of the season. And Garcia whistles in a strike.
Tom Kohler and Jaime Garcia appear unfazed by the delay. Back to throwing strikes.
Well, when Garcia's on, he's really good. We talked about his ERA on his career, 3.58. You just don't find that. And I think a lot of people would be surprised that that's attached to Jaime Garcia's career. He's 30 now. We talked about the 2 seasons that he lost, not full seasons, but close to it, with the labrum and shoulder injuries. He made just 16 starts through 13 and 14.
Been very consistent when he's been on the field, and that's the key, keeping him healthy. There's a point in his career where many around baseball thought he might be done.
Jam shot, Rojas shoots it right field. All 3 outfielders for the Braves tonight have made nice plays, although Markakis didn't have to leave his feet like Inciarte and Peterson did early in the ballgame.
Well, instinctual, all 3 have had the opportunity to get great breaks on the ball and close very well.
Now JT Riddle fouls it back. Some envision their first hit in the big leagues being a shot to center, maybe a home run, but a bouncing breaking ball, check swing roller, beat it by an eyelash. That'll do.
Well, when you tell the story later in life, you just drop the adjective. Just face it the other way. That's all. Yeah, you know.
I went oppo on
whatever, right?
On Garcia.
He doesn't. Nobody gets to take that away from him.
There's the family. Craig was up there to visit with them out of Kentucky. Riddle played at the University of Kentucky. And strike 3 called. And down goes Riddle, up comes Kohler. Jim has always some good emails, and he notes, Todd Hollingsworth, that it's National Grilled Cheese Day. What kind of cheese do you prefer on your sandwiches? And do you like grilled cheese?
I like 2 kinds of cheese, super sharp cheddar and Swiss. It's a pretty definitive answer, isn't it?
Cheese is a baseball term. He wants to know, is grilled cheese ever used in baseball?
Only in the food room.
It's popular in the food room.
It is. Yeah. I mean, I'm being serious.
Yeah, and now that they have gourmet chefs, they make gourmet grilled cheese sandwiches.
You walk in, and if you wanted grilled cheese, you'd ask for it, right? He'd say, what kind of cheese would you like on your grilled cheese? And you tell him, tomatoes, cheese, bacon.
Kohler takes down low. And of course, he dissolves into cat humor, which we've had already our fair share of. Instead of bark at the park, he wants to know, will there be a meow? See, I don't think you could. Actually, it might be entertaining, but I don't know that they could conduct a baseball game if you had cat day here at the park. And there's Kohler into left field for a base hit.
Why not?
So Tom Kohler will bring D. Gordon up.
Good swing from TK right there. Gets a pitch up out over the plate.
His hitting is improved.
He's practiced.
Every season he's getting a little bit better and a little bit better.
Hey, listen, anybody can get better. It's about applying yourself to your trade. And this is a conversation that's gone on for years with starters, especially in the National League. If you want to help yourself, I've had friends and teammates come over from the American League. Didn't like it at first. Pick up the bat, go down to the batting cage, grab a little extra, bunt, 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 swing, swing, swing. You'll get more comfortable up there. I've witnessed firsthand, to your point, brought him up in relation to Wei-Yin Chen and getting his first hit. John Lester with the Chicago Cubs. He applied himself. He worked at it and he got better.
Chopper from Gordon, Phillips to first in time, and Miami is done. Long fourth inning, lights are on, baseball going on, 3-2 Atlanta. It's brought to you by Kubota. For more information or to find a participating dealer, go to FloridaKubotaDealers.com and by Kaiser University. Learn more at KaiserUniversity.edu. One-run game here. The Braves a 3-2 lead. Fashion news. This just in. Actually, around baseball. Special event caps were released. There's the Mother's Day look. Holly, which one of these you would go back in the throwback Marlins look, right? On Father's Day, there's Stars and Stripes.
I like Stars and Stripes. I like Memorial Day as well.
I do too, and so look for those in the Marlins team store here and look for those online as well. Go see Robin and tell Robin that Todd Hollinsworth and Rich Waltz sent you. Oh, is that a Clemson Tiger cap? If it is, I've got a South Carolina email. That's the Puerto Rican League Licey on the right. Got an old school Braves cap there behind as well. Connor in South Carolina. I live in South Carolina. Whenever the Braves play the Marlins, Connor's originally from Jupiter, Florida. Your telecast is blacked out because of the restriction through manipulation. I'm always able to find a way to hear you announce, and we wanted to welcome you to the broadcast.
Well, thank you.
That's Connor in South Carolina.
Appreciate that, Connor. And take this opportunity to thank you. Everybody that I've worked with has been so gracious and so kind in helping me get my feet down and kind of get planted here in South Florida. Very, very grateful.
Love getting emails like this. My name is Specialist Nicholas Roig with the 3rd Battalion, 2nd Air Defense Artillery Regiment. I spent my off-season deployed with my unit. We recently got back in January. Now we're back at home station, Fort Sill. Just want to give my friends and my family a TV shout out. Love you guys and thanks for all your support. Hashtag Air Assaults. Tyler Flowers into right field. That's a base hit. And that is from Specialist Roig in the 3rd Battalion, 2nd Air Defense Artillery Regiment. Thank you for all that you do. And thanks for watching. And a shout out to your friends and family. Glad you're with us tonight. The Marlins and the Braves. And the game delayed about 20 minutes by a power surge that hit Marlins Park. Some inclement weather around Miami. Some lights went out. Lighting restored. Baseball back on. 3-2 Atlanta. Jace Peterson with Flowers at first and nobody out. Boone in Carabel. Boone is a loyal viewer and emailer. Wants to know when are the Marlins going to start retiring numbers. Bouncer, D. Gordon out there. Riddle, quick turn, but not in time. Peterson, the former defensive back for McNeese States, hustled down the line and beats the relay.
Nice turn by D. Gordon. Quick release. Good turn to Riddle. Too much speed on the bases. Peterson, plenty simple. Able to beat it at first.
All right, Todd Hollinsworth, you have certainly a role in the history of the Miami Marlins, part of that 2003 World Championship team. If you were to retire a couple of Marlin numbers, who would the first ones be?
Oh, I'd start with Niner. I mean, that seems pretty obvious to me. Knowing his history with the organization, my own personal history with Niner in 03, and knowing that he had history even before that, I certainly believe he qualifies.
On the 97 and the 2003 World Championship team. All-Star MVP, couple of All-Star games. As well as an incredible amount of work done in the community. Conines Clubhouse. Just one of those examples.
It really is a great question. I mean, I would start there, but it's one that I would have to do some research into. I mean, there's a slew of great names that I could throw out on air tonight, and I don't think too many people would argue with me, but again, getting your number retired by an organization is a big deal. I mean, it's, you know, you're talking about the history of the organization, you're talking about acknowledging a career that had that kind of impact. And with those names, I'm sure that there are some that qualify, in my opinion. Part of its length, obviously success, how long did it last, and it's honestly one of the tougher questions I've been asked, but it's a very, very good one when you think of the Marlins history. There's so many good names.
Rojas goes to first in time as Jaime Garcia sets down a sacrifice. He gives Ender Inciarte something to shoot for with 2 outs. Inciarte a 2-run homer. Freddie Freeman a solo homer, and that's it for the Braves. Marlins runs came on a Giancarlo Stanton 2-run homer, so all 5 runs via the long ball.
Spot for Tom Kohler. The runner on second. You've got speed out there. Ender Inciarte comes into tonight 6 for 12. He's got a homer against Kohler tonight. Got a little bit of a struggling Swanson behind him. The pitch really careful here in this situation.
Liner to right, Stanton in, has it waist high, barreled up by Inciarte, and fortunate for the Marlins.
So if I bought a house back in Oklahoma City last August, so got to get home and fill that up with furniture. So I stayed pretty busy with that for the first half of the off season. And then the second half, I was actually planning my wedding. So got engaged in October and then planned a wedding and had it in February. So it was pretty busy off season for me and very exciting.
It's one of our themes tonight. This is a Twitter Wednesday, if you will, after opening night ceremonies on Tuesday last night. Miami an 8-4 winner last night. Tonight, a 3-2 ball game. All the runs on home runs. A 2-run and a solo shot. Inciarte the 2-run, Freeman the solo for Atlanta, and a 2-run Giancarlo Stanton homer for Miami. And that's it. Miami Sports Minute quick with a tweet. If they did retire Conine's number, would that count for Mike Lowell as well? Real Muto to left. And there's one out.
Yes, to answer your question.
All right, Rich, you remember Jeff Conine had 2 numbers because of Mike Lowell when he came back to the Marlins second time. I think he wore 18 the first time, and then because actually 19 the first time, and then when he came over to the Marlins, because Lowell had 19, I believe he switched to 18, if I'm not mistaken, for the 03 team. So then you got to decide which number.
Well, it's interesting when you talk about, and stay with us here, Craig, because you've been with the Marlins longer than I have, actually. When you talk about retiring Marlins numbers, there aren't a lot of guys that played for, you know, in a case like Chipper Jones for the Braves,
right,
who played their entire career with the team, played for, you know, 18, 19 years with the team. So you have to look for the guys who burn bright in a short time. I would look at Gary Sheffield, even though, you know, he played for a variety of teams. His numbers, his time with the Marlins, he burned exceedingly bright.
Dynamic, yeah, right. And obviously there's been some talk about Jose Fernandez potentially, but you're right, no one has spent that long a time, and even Jeff Conine as that one gets through.
But Yelich really blistered that ball, and it ate Swanson alive.
Even Conine himself left and came back, but was here for both championship teams. So it's a tough one. I'm not sure the list is much longer than the few names that we threw out.
You see right there, that ball comes up and bites Dansby Swanson on the heel of the glove.
Well, in about 10 or 12 years, that guy might be a number that you're talking about. And the guy at first base as well, Christian Yelich.
Well, and I think that's part of this debate, and it really is a great question, is the fact, to your point, Rich, there are, you know, and I think of it in terms of like the Hall of Fame conversation. You have enough guys that qualify in that short burst, to your point, burn bright, but is there enough history there? I think that's the question that you asked.
Well, this one burned bright, and actually it burned bright because it was re-entering the atmosphere. It was a roof scraper.
7 seconds of hang time.
Stanton's first of the season. He walked back in the first. You got speed with Yelich over at first base. Nacio tweets in, and this is probably my bauble, that the Licey cap is a Dominican Republic team, not a Puerto Rican team. I'll take the heat for that.
Licey plays out of Santo Domingo, the capital. I should have jumped in and told you because I played there.
You did.
I played in La Romana.
So that fit in with your Dodger blue.
Yeah,
at
that was
point,
right there. We kind of all jumped, but I was, yeah, I recognized the Licey. There's, of course, my years were a few years ago. Escogido and Licey in the capital. La Romana. One of the smaller teams.
I love the hashtag that Nacio put on there after saying that I misidentified Licey. Hashtag jabroni. I'll wear it. I'll take it. Stanton fires at that 90-mile-an-hour fastball, and it counts 1 and 2.
Got a little cutting action on that pitch right there, getting in on Giancarlo Stanton's hands.
Fastball in. Steven lobs in Josh Beckett's name because of his contributions. Obviously, a dominant postseason in 2003. Oh my! Line drive, left field, deep and gone. In the blink of an eye, Miami has the lead.
Have a night, Giancarlo Stanton.
That one into the pool, and I think some fans went into the pool after it.
After getting out of the way, that was a laser.
Look at this. Look at that. There he is.
Do it.
Get rid of the phone. Yeah. I'm going in. I love how he checked his pocket to see if he had his phone on him. That's a smart guy.
It's a big decision right there. How about the difference between the two homers Giancarlo Stanton has hit tonight?
Right. You're right. Woo. I mean, one flat, not more than 30 feet off the ground. The other nearly hitting the girders.
Now 7 for 10 against Jaime Garcia. Look at the extension. We'll have to get the hang time on that and compare it to his first homer. I bet it's about half the time.
Well, the hang time on the first was 6.8.
Right, almost 7 seconds. That had to be about 3.
Stanton's homer with an exit speed of 116 miles an hour, and its apex was 48 feet. And it ended up going 396 feet. 19th career 2-homer game for Giancarlo Stanton, and Miami's lead is 4-3.
Well, you promised me fireworks earlier. I mean, we were talking about that. You're like, yeah, you're going to see some things with Stanton. He's going to do some things. I'm like, oh, well, I know he does. I can't wait to see them. Impressive. You delivered.
No, not me. Not me. Down goes Ozuna. And there's 2 outs here in the 5th. Here's Tyler Moore. Sunday fun day, Marlins Park, Mets and Marlins. That's always fun. 1:10 start. Pick up the Aquafina 4-pack and get 4 tickets, 4 Nathan's hot dogs, 4 Pepsi soft drinks. Aquafina water starting at $84 on the 4-pack. There he is. Got the ball in the water. Kids can run the bases in the Diamond Dash after the game as well. Tyler Moore rips it to left. A sinking liner that gets down for a hit. Moore had a line drive out in the 3rd. He swung the bat very well in the spring, and it's carried over here into the regular season.
He's done a fantastic job in the season getting spare time, really. I mean, you talk about his pinch hits. I mean, he hasn't been out there every day, and every time he's been on the field, he's been able to contribute at least a line drive. And you've seen one earlier tonight. Great swing right there to left. He has been on his game, and his preparation in between is keeping him ready to go. Good at bats tonight, Tyler Moore.
So 2 Giancarlo Stanton home runs. 4-3 lead. Rojas is bounced out and lined out. Atlanta's bullpen. Josh Colmenter, Eric O'Flaherty. Two down, bottom 5. Pitch number 85 from Garcia. Tom Kohler has thrown just 56 pitches. So in terms of pitch count, Kohler's got more in the tank right now than Garcia. Little roller up towards Phillips. He's going to go to first in time. Jaime Garcia's been great, except when he faces this guy. A 2-run homer early and a 2-run homer here. And it's 4-3 Miami. Marlins on top of the Braves. 6th inning is here, and so is Craig Minervini. Craig?
All right, Rich, I don't want to get too close. I'm going to get wet here standing next to Frank Delgado. Tell me about you were kind of looking. You and your buddy were watching the ball come at you.
We were talking about we were gonna tie up the ball game or score 2 runs, and he was saying that Stanton's a stud. And I was like, no, I'll take Yelich. And then Stanton hit a home run, and nobody could get the ball. And then my friend asked for the ball, so I had to jump in the water and get it.
Now it went right through you guys, basically.
Right here. Right there. Yeah. Right in the water.
Now, did you have your phone on you? How did you?
No, I checked first.
Did check.
I did the check first.
Not the first time a home run has come your way. Ironically, with all the talk about how Jose's on everybody's mind, a couple of years ago, played to Atlanta, he hits a homer.
The ball, I went to the bathroom. Yeah. Had to go to the bathroom, right? Bad break. Right. And the ball landed right on my seat after it hit the net.
Jose
Fernandez hit the ball, home run he hit, landed on my seat, and then it all went crazy because everybody went after the ball, and I wasn't here for that. So I got redeemed.
You got the redeemed. Ball. And were you guys worried because it was coming as a score? You didn't try to catch the ball.
Oh no, it was hot. It was coming in hot.
Yeah, it was a heater. He hit it real hard.
Why was Frank the guy that had to jump in? Why nobody else?
I had to get it from my friend. Okay. I had to get it from my friend that asked for the ball.
All right, Frank. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, keep the towel on. All right, back to you guys.
All right, watch Frank. He's feeling for his phone. I'm good. And in he goes.
Well, he gets the ball for bravery. I mean, again, you see him to the left right there. It wasn't like he was ready to make the catch. I'll give him kudos for jumping in and getting wet. It was interesting, like watching the ball, 116 miles an hour, I believe, off the bat. The reaction time of the fans. Did you realize how late they were when they jumped? The ball was already past them.
It's tough to read for a left fielder, let alone somebody in the Clevelander. 2-2 pitch to Dansby Swanson. Riddle tested on the backhand, and he passes. The nice throw. One shortstop throwing out the other. Geico brings you this Marlins moment. Go back to '93, year one. Benito Santiago, first homer in club history, 4th inning 2-run homer off of Trevor Wilson at Candlestick Park. Time now for a AARP getting to know Freddie Freeman. There you go. Now, okay, minor league player of the year. You knew he was going to be a success coming up. Played for Canada. His family of Canadian heritage. He was honored to play for Canada. And he was rescued by Chipper in a snowstorm in Atlanta, which was famously displayed in the Chipper Saves Freddie bobblehead. And we had one of those autographed last year for our fantasy auction. So, and thanks to Chipper. Thanks for Chipper to Chipper for saving Freddie, and thanks to Freddie for signing the bobblehead. Oh, see, now Frank has got the girls, he's got the ball. There's a lot of people that would jump in the pool for that, right? Kohler walks Freeman, 1 out here in the 6th. Miami's bullpen may start to stir a little bit.
Beginning for Tom Kohler. And here's why. Think back to the action earlier in the ball game. Braves got the lead. Marlins able to tie it up. Giancarlo Stanton 2-run homer, unfortunately gave the lead right back on another home run. So now he gets the 2-run homer, the second one of the game for Giancarlo Stanton. He has the lead. He's at 65 pitches right now.
And I think, and action is starting in the bullpen. It's not the pitch count, it's the score on the scoreboard. And you're right. I think it's the way the Braves have scored their runs.
It's the number of looks that Tom Kohler has had, or the Atlanta Braves have had against him through the lineup.
It's a 4-game series. Yoenis Cespedes red hot right now. He and the Mets arrive tomorrow night. 4-gamer. Hopefully Giancarlo Stanton will be wearing his King Tut underwear.
Is that because he wore it today?
Yeah. For those of you that
do tell more. I think people at home want to know what in the world you're talking about.
Well, look, I saw it on Intentional Talk on MLB Network. A terrific segment on Intentional Talk with Giancarlo Stanton wearing what looked like about 8 pounds of bling.
He had his Mr. T set on.
King Tut underwear, a goofy hat and sunglasses, and Christian Yelich playing the straight man. And those two were very good on Intentional Talk today. Do you think Stan got that on his trip to the Middle East to see the pyramids?
Question.
They don't have like the pyramid gift store, right, where you can buy.
Just off of one of the big pyramids gift shop.
I think he dressed up as a pharaoh for Halloween one year here in Miami.
Well, certainly he's intrigued by it.
Stanton makes a catch. Well, he hung out with AJ Ramos and Ricky Nolasco, and this was a shot of their offseason. That's the Dead Sea.
That's pretty cool.
That's Egypt and the pyramids. It's AJ. There's Big G. And of course, in South America, they had that wall in Rio. There's Ricky Nolasco in the middle. Nolasco was very much a mentor to Jose when Jose got to the big leagues. Ricky Nolasco in Anaheim now. The Marlins will face the Angels here at Marlins Park.
Well, to answer your question, whatever he's wearing today, I'm sure he'll be wearing tomorrow. We'll leave it at that. 2 home runs tonight. Giancarlo Stanton.
So after the Markakis fly ball out, Brandon Phillips with Freeman at first. To right, Stanton again, this time in and over, and has it. And Tom Kohler gets through the 6th, hangs on to that lead. It's 4-3 Miami. Of the Braves, it's the bottom of the 6th. Giancarlo Stanton with not 2. Here's the clock. Not 1 but 2 homers. The line drive to left. 3.5. Good call there, Holly. 6.8 on the skyscraper.
Which do you like better?
I like the line drive. I like the 3.5.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. That really is. I mean, I love the hang time, but we're waiting in suspense.
JT Riddle is up. Riddle takes down low. Now, Jim in an email said that it's Grilled Cheese Day, National Grilled Cheese Day. And they were listening downstairs because in the food truck, grilled cheese is one of the signature sandwiches.
Ask and you shall receive.
For this series, the food truck down below is always has a little bit of a different wrinkle for every team that comes in. Grilled cheese is a specialty, and we thank them for sending this up. And I'm going to let him eat all of this because that's what good partners do, right?
And I will.
By the way, what a really cool email we got. We've been running through tweets, we've been running through emails, and we showed Jeff Conine, who's known as the Crusher because of the way he eats. But we got a tweet from Brandon who said, how about Griffin Conine going yard twice for Duke tonight? Jeff's son plays for Duke. He had a couple of home runs tonight. So
channeling his inner Giancarlo Stanton.
There you go. So congratulations. Way to go, Griffin. Griffin had a really good summer league going up north in the Wood Bat League. Speaking of the crush-up, that would be Jeff Conine. He's with Jessica Blaylock.
Niner, we have a few different things to talk about. First off, Giancarlo Stanton, not the only player tonight with a multi-home run game. You know that well, don't you?
I do that well. I'm actually watching it on my phone right now. Griffin Co9. For those of you Twitter followers, Griffin_CO9 hit a couple bombs himself for Duke University tonight.
So congratulations to him. And speaking of Twitter, now you were a guy just a couple years ago that was very anti-Twitter, but you have started to embrace it. Is that correct?
It has been a slow process, but yes, I have come around a little bit. Thanks to you. You helped me. You gave me the nudge into the Twitter universe.
I did give you the push, and I am proud of it. What is your Twitter handle so people can follow you?
JIC Niner, N9ER. JIC 9ER.
And we are doing a special Wednesday edition of a Twitter and email Tuesday with that hashtag #MyOffSeason. What did you do during your off season?
Well, probably the coolest thing I did this offseason and maybe in my life was I flew with the Thunderbirds. I went up in a F-16 with one of the lead pilots of Thunderbirds right here at Homestead Air Force Base, and quite possibly one of the coolest things I've ever done.
Never a dull moment when you are Jeff Co9. That's why I like hanging with you. All right, guys, back to you.
All right, thank you. Very nice. Very well done. Eric O'Flaherty on the mound for the Braves, and he's dispatched with JT Riddle and then Ichiro. So 2 hitters, 2 strikeouts. And O'Flaherty, it's a good time for him to come in. He's been able to face 3 left-handed bats.
That's his specialty. Getting those left-handed hitters out is what he does so well. Last night, see him in here again tonight.
National Grilled Cheese Day.
Just followed Jeff Co9 on Twitter.
Oh, you ex-players are all alike.
Yeah.
You're all.
I looked him up. I mean, this is a great picture. I mean, everybody needs to go check out his Twitter page. That's him with Thunderbirds. He's just telling us the story. What a great display.
Yeah, he looks like Goose, right? With the glasses and the flying
Thumb
suit.
up, right? Yeah, he's got it.
4-3 Miami. Headed to the 7th. Stand with 2 2-run homers. Todd Hollingsworth, Craig Minervini, Jeff Co9, Jessica Blaylock all lined up, along with Rich Waltz. Glad you're with us tonight. 4-3. Marlins on top. Tom Kohler, 6 innings, 3 runs. A couple home runs accounted for those 3 runs. And Kohler is done tonight. Brad Ziegler takes over for Miami. So Atlanta with Jaime Garcia giving them 5 innings. 4 runs, 3 earned for Garcia. And now the Marlins bullpen takes the baton and is asked to get 9 outs and hang on to this lead. Adonis Garcia's up and he takes down low. It is our social media night. We usually call it Twitter Tuesday because we usually have it on, well, Tuesday. Emails and tweets. We appreciate your participation tonight. Kevin chimed in, just tuned in to see Stanton is not using the face guard. Is he trying something different? Well, against lefties, Stanton doesn't wear that face mask. So even I forget that sometimes. And he's faced righties for a couple of weeks, and all of a sudden there he is standing without the guard. But ever since he started that face guard, he felt that he saw the ball out of the left-hander's hand much better. It's obviously breaking towards him instead of at him. And a swing and a miss. Ziegler gets a strikeout of Garcia. So good observation, Kevin, against the lefties. Stanton doesn't wear the guards. This summer, guys like Allen Iverson, Chauncey Billups, Kenyon Martin, Jermaine O'Neal are back out there. Some legends of the hardwood on the floor for a 10-city 3-on-3 battle. Ice Cube presents Big 3 basketball only on FS1. Good news for me. Now I got to find the tweet. Sorry.
Well, then let me jump in here. I want to talk about Brad Ziegler for a moment, how Don Mattingly has been using him this season. We've seen him kind of piggybacking the starters, kind of setting up the work out of the bullpen. And I love this angle. Brad Ziegler changes speeds and changes pace, kind of works below 85 miles an hour. And when you pair that with a starter who you've seen now 2-3 times in a row, 92, 93 miles an hour, your timing's off against Brad Ziegler, and that has been true every time he's been out there.
That's a great point. It's the contrast and where you place him.
Right.
Who they faced before they faced this guy. I'm always amazed at that third number that pops up there, the career ERA of 2.44 for a guy that was pitching an independent ball after being released by the Phillies about a year after they drafted him. Oakland signed him out of the independent league, had him in their system, suggested he drop down and start throwing that submarine style. And the rest, as they say, is history. Now I got a note from Nacio who says, since my tweet was read on the air, I shall take back my jabroni hashtag. And now it's hashtag Dominicans love you again. Thank you.
I thought I cleared that up. No?
I think you greased the skids.
I did a little bit.
And helped me out.
Should have jumped in a little earlier. Sorry about that, partner.
Jace Peterson is up right now. We had a note from Steven who wanted to know, is Ichiro the only player that you know of that's recognized by his first name?
No.
We've gone through that. There's been some guys in history.
I played with Nomo, and I know Hideo. It was maybe 50-50, but a lot of people really recognize Nomo as Nomo, the tornado.
Well, I think Steven is talking about first name not only by other, people just calling him Ichiro, but name on the jersey and all,
I see
all
what
of
you're
that.
saying.
Chili Davis had chili. I remember Catfish Hunter had catfish on. I think Vita Blue had Vita. I remember Johnny LeMaster, who was booed a lot, came out one day with boo on his uniform, former Giant shortstop. Little roller up first. The odd part about that, Steven, is that wasn't Ichiro's idea. That was his manager in Japan, who said Suzuki is one of the most popular last names in Japan. But you're going to be special. You are Ichiro, so I want you to put Ichiro on your jersey and go by Ichiro. Look, Ichiro was just happy to make the team at that point. He'd been in the up and down between the minor leagues for 2 years. And that was the manager that really believed in his swing, that was going to give him a chance. And so Ichiro was all in on his manager's idea. Gordon, little underhand flip, nicely done by Brad Ziegler. This ball game in the stretch, and Giancarlo is coming to bat again. Now that's a hat. That's a cap, actually. We have an email from Ian in Rhode Island wanting to know any fun and interesting promotions going on at Marlins Park. And it's the Don Mattingly bobblehead night that we'll see the Marlins trot out first on Friday night. That's a good one. 10,000 fans get the Mattingly bobblehead, courtesy of Aquafina, for Mets and Marlins on Friday night. The Bobblehead Museum. Now, Todd Hollinsworth, I asked you, a bobblehead of you someplace, somewhere, Dodgers, Rookie of the Year, bobblehead edition?
It's a good question. I don't know 100% the answer. I do believe that there was a Rookie of the Year, the 5 of us bobblehead. Now, it was past my time when I was there that I remember. I mean, I got wind of it. I don't have one. I don't own one. I'm not quite sure if there is, as I said, 100%. But I do remember earlier in my career being told something like that.
Jose Ramirez into the ball game for the Braves. Pitcher number 3 on the night, second out of the bullpen. In a 1-run game, Miami looking for some insurance here in the 7th. Real Muto, Yelich, and Stanton. Stanton has been the offense. Miami has 7 hits, 2 of those Stantons, both of those 2-run homers. And as different as you can imagine 2 home runs would be. One was a high, towering drive. It looked like it was going to scrape a girder. As the roof is closed here at Marlins Park, it took 7.8 seconds to get out, or excuse me, 6.8 seconds to get out in left field. Went about 400 feet. The other was a line drive that took 3.5 seconds. 46 feet, I believe, was as high as it got, and it ended up in the pool in the Clevelander, along with our buddy out there who jumped in to grab the souvenir. Real Muto smacks one in the air to right. Markakis tracking, and he makes the catch. Here comes Yelich.
Well, emotion and expression is a huge part of what baseball players do on the field. And if I could bottle up Jaime Garcia's reaction to those 2 homers, the first one, a hanging slider all over himself. He knows what he did. He knows he left it out over the plate, and Giancarlo Stanton made him pay. The other one, not nearly the same reaction. That was, yeah, 116 miles an hour off the bat. That's on me.
Yelich now. And Ramirez misses down low. Ramirez tried to save a ball game in Pittsburgh, gave up a 2-run game-ending homer to Starling Marte without giving up an out, or recording an out. But since getting back to the big leagues in the middle of last year, his ERA has been in the low 2s. It's his 2nd opening day roster for the righty. Yelich being selective, goes to 2-1.
Now you see the hard slider right there. He throws it about 90 miles an hour. We're talking about change of pace. We were talking about Brad Ziegler last inning. This is the definition of a change of pace. You bring a 97-mile-an-hour throwing Ramirez into a ball game after Jaime Garcia.
And Yelich pulls it to Freeman, and here comes Stanton. By the way, we talked about the King Tut underwear that Stanton wore. A little more research on that, thanks to Jim. Stanton actually wore they were actually worn by Ozuna to the park to celebrate his home runs last night. Stanton took them, hoping the power would transfer to him. So Ozuna homered twice last night. Stanton homered twice tonight. I mean, if I'm a teammate,
yeah, I'm a little perplexed at this conversation. I'm not sure where to steer it.
Well, look, I would steer it to like Real Muto or to Yelich or to somebody else tomorrow, if it's that magical, right? Stan hits a mammoth pop-up. Let's see if Flowers can run it down, and he does. That's a quick inning by Jose Ramirez. Marlins pen still has a 1-run lead. It's 4-3. top. Wei-Yin Chen will be going tomorrow night against Robert Gazelman. Marlins saw Gazelman and that flowing hair up in New York. Chen pitched well. Marlins got to Gazelman. And they meet again. Adam Conley, Noah Syndergaard on Friday. That's going to be a whale of a matchup. Conley and Syndergaard. DeGrom and Volquez on Saturday. Harvey, Straley on Sunday. Junichi Tazawa for Miami. And Tazawa, you could see this is appearance number 4. The first 2 did not go well for Tazawa. Don Mattingly said he thought he looked a little nervous out there in that first appearance in Washington, D.C. Since then, he settled down a bit, and the Marlins are hopeful that that process continues.
Well, this is a big spot for him. To your point, a good test for him as well. One-run ball game, Marlins with the lead. This lineup is going to get flipped over here in a second, so big outs for Tazawa here in the 8th inning.
Emilio Bonifacio with Ender Inciarte and Dansby Swanson. So 6 innings of Tom Kohler. A perfect inning from Brad Ziegler. And this is kind of how Miami has drawn it up, right? Going into the season. Adding to the rotation, unable to really find a top-end guy in terms of, I guess, the likes of a Jose or a Bumgarner or a Kershaw. Instead, bolstering the bullpen, Ziegler, Tazawa, a couple guys with a lot of success. Ziegler, especially in his long career. Tazawa had some really nice years with the Red Sox. There's the split, one of the calling cards. A shoulder impingement last year for Tazawa limited his appearances to 53, and his ERA was over 4 at 4.17.
He's got a solid American League East background. There's something to that. All the hitters' parks there. Kind of a way of measuring in the MLB circles. If you have pitched well in the American League East, you can pitch well in just about everywhere, is the assumption that most make.
Now, is that because of caliber of play? Is it because of size of ballpark?
All things. I think it's a little bit of everything. I mean, you look at how the Baltimore Orioles are constructed and the Boston Red Sox right now. I mean, it's a power conversation. It's a speed conversation. It's a ballpark factor conversation. Yankee Stadium. I mean, there's a lot of things going on. You even look at how the Rays are constructed.
Bonifacio to right. Busy night for Stanton, and he runs another one down.
Big out for Tazawa right there.
Yeah, keeps the speed off the bases. And now you face Inciarte, who has a 2-run homer tonight with nobody on. And 1 out here in the 8th.
And to your point about the bullpen and how Don Mattingly has chosen to use his bullpen. Lots of numbers, lots of names, you know, lots of innings down there. The type of ball game that you would anticipate, much like tonight, a 1-run ball game, almost all game long. You believe that the advantage goes to the Marlins because of the talent that they have in the bullpen and the numbers as well.
1-1 pitch. Inciarte takes down, and it's 2-1. Three and one.
Zawa has fallen behind the last two hitters. We talk about the effectiveness of his split finger fastball, his best pitch. Can't use it consistently if you're falling behind hitters.
It's 3-1. Inciarte can run a bit too. In a one-run game. Does he throw that fastball on 3-2 now?
Well, you saw it to Bonifacio. He's going to have to do it again. You're looking to keep speed off the base paths, and if it's an L9, it's an L9. You'll take it. But you're looking for an out right here.
Turns on it and fouls it off. We're talking about possible Marlin numbers to be retired. We've seen some Charles Johnson suggestions.
Would agree with that.
Liner to right, and it's deep, and it's gone. Inciarte has done it again. And Tazawa unable to get that splitter over. Had to come in, and Inciarte punishes him.
Well, and that's the unfortunate part about this. Is split finger again being his best pitch, but when you fall behind hitters, you become predictable. And when you become predictable, advantage hitter. And Inciarte already with a home run in the ball game tonight was sitting just that way. You see right there, what's that action got to be? He doesn't want to walk. He has to challenge. Gets the pitch up, in just a little bit. Inciarte just enough to get it out to tie up this ball game.
Eight runs in this game. All have come via the long ball, and Swanson drills one by Rojas. Ozuna's got a big arm. He fires it in and keeps Swanson at first with a single. And Tazawa right now, remember, he gave up the line drive out to Bonifacio to start the inning. A line drive homer by Inciarte, and now Swanson hits one hard. So 4-4, and it's still one out. And a visit from Juan Nieves. Been keeping eye on the Mets game. The Mets had a 5-0 lead in Philadelphia. Remember, last night they hit 7 homers and wiped them out. Phillies have come back. It's 5-4. Mets on top, bottom 8 in Philly. Nationals lost today. St. Louis beat them 6-1. Dustin McGowan getting loose in Miami's bullpen. Well, if you don't get it together quickly, this guy will hurt you as well, and that's Freddie Freeman. He homered against Kohler back in the 4th. Inciarte a 2-run homer, then a solo homer. Freeman has a solo homer. That's the 4 runs for the Braves. Stanton a high 2-run homer to left center in the 3rd, and then a bullet line drive to left in the 5th. That a 2-run homer as well. And those are all the runs on the night. Freeman lifts that one foul.
Good meeting. Able to get ahead. Freddie Freeman with a couple of fastballs up in the zone, just a little off the outside corner. Much better location, working ahead for Tazawa.
Oh, 2. And that one fouled in and out of the glove of Real Muto.
And that right there, as you see that defensive swing from Freddie Freeman, is an example and awareness that, you know, when you're watching, you realize Freddie Freeman knows about his split finger fastball too, and that's evidence of it right there. He is trying to allow the ball to get deep and almost guarding against that split finger. Guys know he has it. He just hasn't been able to get himself consistently in a position to throw the split finger.
Freeman hooks it. And it rattles around down in that corner. Count 0-2. 4-4 game. The Braves head home. They've got an off day tomorrow, and then they open up their brand new park on Friday night against the Padres. And of course, for the Marlins, the Mets arrive, and that 4-game series starts tomorrow. It takes the Marlins through the weekend before they head back out on the road. Marlins open their trip in Seattle, of all places. Tazawa with a fastball misses high. McGowan just about ready in the bullpen. You've got Markakis and then Phillips after Freeman. Big shift against Freeman. A swing and a miss, ball in the dirt. Real Muto's throw is in time. He got him. This play will be reviewed by the Braves video room to see if they will challenge. The strikeout was big. Real Muto had to dig it out, then throw it. Catch. That left hand. I don't think you'll be able to see glove meet hip here. Remember, it has to be clear and conclusive to overturn it. This might be a good look.
I got him out.
Ow. That is close.
Is it enough to overturn it, though? That's the question.
It's a great question. That's where the original call is.
If I'm with you on the first one, you might think that he's safe, and I think that's where this goes. Because do you have enough evidence to overturn it? Because you can't really tell where does he get him on the pocket?
That first replay looked like he was in there. I don't think the other two gave you any type of conclusion. But like I said, if it looks like he was, it has to be he was or he wasn't to overturn it. So the body of evidence has to be complete, which might work to Miami's advantage here.
You mentioned that ball in the dirt that JT Realmuto had to pick. That was the split finger fastball that you were looking for. Freddie Freeman goes down swinging. JT still does a great job of getting the throw down to second base.
All right, watch. Let's see if the glove on the super slow-mo gets the hip before the hand is in. There. That's really close. And I think.
See, my argument is I'm not seeing enough for me to go the other direction.
Right.
And I'm not going to leave. I'm just going to leave it at that. I am as much down the middle as you are, but the call is out on the field, and that's what you got to stick with.
Isn't it a great illustration of how hard it is to umpire this game? We've watched 2 super slow-mos, 3 other angles, and still you're just not sure. And these guys have to make the decision in a split second at full speed. oftentimes while they're moving on the field. He's out. And my guess is this will be a call stands, not a call confirmed. Call stands. So you were right, counselor. How about Real Muto, though? Recovering and throwing him out. Run. Todd Hollingsworth, give us a pitcher's perspective.
Well, I'm going to give you some expression here. This is the joy. I always talk about from the hitter's perspective, but you can feel it with Tom Cola right there. Mistake, secondary pitch out over the plate. How about Jaime Garcia? Oh, even got a little leg kick right there. Knows he hung that slider. Giancarlo standing all over it. But here's the thing that's so interesting. So those are the first two. Watch the reaction right here. Fastball out over the plate. Really good hitter. Got really good wood. That's going to happen. Jaime Garcia, well, we're going to move to Tazawa right here. This is a big one as well. Fastball in.
Marcell Ozuna swings and misses at a breaking ball. There's your game summary. 4 runs, 7 hits, and an error for Atlanta. 4-7-0 for Miami. Ciarte, a couple. Stanton, a couple. Freeman as well. And remember the delay for the lights in the 4th inning. New pitcher for the Braves. Aroldis Vizcaíno makes his 4th appearance. He has yet to give up an earned run. He's worked 3 innings. Eric O'Flaherty, Jose Ramirez, and now Vizcaíno.
Well, his command has been in check so far this season. Nobody will debate his talent and certainly what he possesses skill-wise.
Breaking ball kicks away, and Ozuna's going to get first base on a wicked slider.
As I was just getting ready to read to you the strikeouts per 9 innings, walks per 9 innings last year for Vizcaíno. This kind of sums it up right here. You see that slider in the dirt. Doesn't get the glove turned over to keep it in front, still stays with the backhand. It kicks off the backside of the glove right there. Ozuna able to get the first. Those ratios, 11-6-4 on the strikeouts per 9 innings. That tells you what a talent he is. Certainly has the fastball velocity, the slider to go along with it. But 6 walks per 9. Command has been an issue, and you saw it right there.
Tyler Moore now is lined out, singled, and struck out. Ozuna's at first. Pretty good speed. Vizcaíno steps off. Good ball game here tonight. If you like home runs, if you like tight games, some good defense as well. The Braves outfield has played quite well. JT Realmuto's had a nice night behind the plate, throwing out a pair of runners. And a strike to Moore at 96 miles an hour. No swing, and it's 1-1. AJ Ramos is up, and it looks like he will come in and pitch the top of the ninth, regardless of what happens here in the bottom of the eighth. Moore. Almost a defensive swing as that fastball really came in.
Well, that is rarefied air. 97 miles an hour. You see the late action. It's boring action in on his hands right there. Ties him up. Let's look at it one more time. Watch this tailing action. Ooh. That is a tough pitch to get out in front of.
Ozuna dives back in. Ozuna's running game last year was really curtailed. He was just 0 of 3. Both Ozuna and Danny Echeverria did not have good years. Echeverria stole only 1 base, and he only attempted that 1 steal. Slider misses out. It's 2-2. Mets and Phillies now in the 9th. And it's 5-4 Mets. Told you the Nationals have lost 6-1. The Cardinals beat them. So the Nationals are at 5-4. Miami can improve to 5-3 if they can find a way to win this one. Moore pulls a ground ball to third. Garcia out there. Phillips' turn is in time. And the Braves turn a double play.
Quick turn there. See it to Brandon Phillips. Quick release. Tyler Moore hustling down the line, but not enough.
MLB.com is your #1 mobile app for live Marlins baseball. Stay connected with a fully customizable experience. Marlins home screen icons, app features, as well as game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, StatCast news, and more. Download MLB.com app bat today. Flowers just downloaded one, and he's trying to shake it off.
98 miles an hour on the way in, redirected. Ooh, right at the top of the knee.
It was down on that left knee, and it still looked like it hit the...
Almost like it caught a little flesh right there to the top of the knee pad.
See those little... Oof. On the shin guards on the back of them, he's got the little pads.
Knee savers.
The knee savers. So when catchers go into the crouch, it takes a lot of pressure off of the knees.
Well, but it also, as you said, takes pressure off the knees, but it exposes actually where he got hit just a little bit more because you don't get into that full crouch. That space in there is behind the knee, and it's right over the knee pad where he caught that foul ball.
I think there's probably some folks at home on their couch which are right now Googling knee savers because they'd like to order a pair. They're not catchers, but they'd like a little of that.
They work
to help for the knees. Rojas in a hole, and Vizcaíno looks nasty right now. Rojas inside outs it and lines it foul.
Well, so much respect has to be given to the 97-mile-an-hour fastball that he possesses. We showed you a little bit earlier the moving action on it, two-seam action. Puts hitters in a defensive mode. Start factoring in secondary pitches, and you just from the beginning of the at-bat on, kind of put yourself in a position where you can get on that fastball, get on it early.
Flowers back to the screen. It's 2 rows back. Ted Barrett working home plate tonight. He's had a nice night. Breaking ball out. Rojas just won't go away right now.
He's giving him a battle right now, thinking about using his off-field, going to the right side, letting that ball travel a little bit deeper. We've talked about the little things, putting together the at-bats. Vizcaíno, again, no walk in the park. He's trying to make pitchers pitches ahead in the count. Rojas doing a nice job fighting him off.
Another one wide of first.
Well, with each pitch, advantage hitter. And he's still down on the count 1-2, but he's getting to see everything that he has. You start to time that fastball, advantage definitely goes to the hitter. More pitches you can see. Doesn't make it any easier though.
No. Count 1 and 2. That is in. Ninth pitch of the at bat. And it's a good one. Down goes Rojas. Vizcaíno looked untouchable there in the 8th. And this ball game goes to the 9th, and it's all tied at 4. Emails and tweets tonight, even though it's a Wednesday, and one of the themes has been what I did on my off season, and these are the clubbies, the 4 clubbies: Jacob, Jeremy, Bean, and Carlos. They took a trip to Japan to visit Ichiro. And here's a look. How cool is this?
Love it. That is really cool. I bet they had a blast.
Yeah. Japan is a blast.
I mean, could you imagine getting to spend, you know, any kind of quality time in Japan with Ichiro? I mean, he's a legend.
Yes, that's like,
I mean, anywhere you go.
30 years ago, being able to hang out with Elvis.
You're eating for free. You're kings.
Well, they do a lot of work in those clubhouses.
Not that they don't
so,
deserve it.
yeah.
I mean, I would think anybody.
All right, here's Ramos now, and he's going to get Markakis, Phillips, and Garcia. And a strike there. Markakis is 1 for 2. Damage at the top of the order for the Braves. And Ciarte's got 2 homers, a 2-run shot, and a solo. Freddie Freeman in the 3 spot has homered. Other than that, not a lot else out of the Braves offensively. End of the bat, Ramos is there, pounces, flips it on over to first. Toyota brings you our inside look. Best win percentage at Marlins Park. Believe it or not, it's the Braves. And a lot of those inflicted with Miami's third base coach as the manager, Freddie Gonzalez.
Makes sense.
Ryan Snitker in
Play a
Atlanta.
lot. See the Atlanta Braves an awful lot.
Braves won 6 of 8 here last year. And of course, game number 9 was postponed. That was the day that Jose Fernandez was killed.
Well, I would speak to, in terms, Don Mattingly's talked about the growth of this young team, this Marlins team. What adjustments will you see this year? I've talked about how they have to play better in the division. You also don't want to get caught playing to the level of your competition, Rich. And I think that's probably an example of that. Start to learn how to beat the teams you're supposed to on paper. You look at them and you say, okay, this is where our talent level is. This is what our bullpen looks like. This is what we are. What is their season all about? And you take care of your business. The 2003 Marlins, one of the great examples of that. It's what we did really well.
Who couldn't you beat that year? Was there a team that stuck in your well, on your windshield, so to speak?
It's a small sample size, but it's really the way that I remember it. In the NLCS, we were comfortable, you know, around the Cubs. We felt like we could beat them, and as that series went, we felt the momentum going our way. Might sound weird to people, but we really did. We believed that. We knew how good the Cubs were. But in the American League, we felt like we really lined up well with the Yankees. The Boston Red Sox, in that season, we made a trip up to Boston, and it did not go well in any way.
So what was the reaction when you were sitting on the plane on the tarmac? Were you guys watching the?
Yes. Well, we weren't. We were at the hotel in downtown Chicago, actually.
And you were watching the Yankees and the Red Sox.
And we were watching the game on TV, and we were cheering. I mean, we kind of, you know, collectively, you could get the sense that we felt the way our game played in '03 lined up with the Yankees really well.
And that was Aaron Boone's dramatic homer
off Tim Wakefield
to send the Yankees into the World Series.
Part of that was the taste that we got, the bad taste that was left in our mouth by the Boston Red Sox in our trip to Boston earlier that summer. Watched Johnny Damon hit 3 times in the first inning one game.
It's not a good sign.
No.
Phillips will steal a bag if you don't pay attention. He swiped a couple last night. It's a good thing Craig wasn't down at his spot down there at third base. That was right in his corner. But our guy John Tuitu was quick to get out of the way. Our third base cameraman. He's actually a celebrity cameraman. Manning the hot corner. Phillips battling at the count 0-2. Or excuse me, Garcia battling. He fouls it back to the screen, nearly comes out of his shoes. The bat came out of his hand, it slipped out. Ramos working with 1 out. Down goes Garcia.
Nicely done by A.J. Ramos. As he goes to the slider, looking to go low and away and keep that ball down. That's the bite you're looking for right there. Gets it past the aggressive Garcia. Brandon Phillips picked up his 200 stolen base last night. I just happened to notice that we were showing his board. 2 stolen bases last night. Must have picked up 200. Where was I?
200. 200 was the first. 201 was the second.
That's right.
Ball in the dirt. Real Muto has to retrieve it. Phillips around second.
All right, Tyler. Runner in scoring position. Trade places right here.
John Chimchuk, our baseball historian, who's on the disabled list right now, but I believe is starting to keep score and provide stats on a minor league rehab. Has dropped us some knowledge. Most runs scored in a Marlins game in which all runs scored via the home run is 8. And tonight is the 4th time that's happened in Marlins history. Last year against Colorado, June 20th.
There's still a lot to be decided in this one.
Liner by Riddle into center field. Phillips around third, and he's going to score. And Atlanta has come back to take the lead. 5-4. Tyler Flowers.
On the span of 2 pitches, a wild pitch puts Brandon Phillips in scoring position. 1 pitch later, Tyler Flowers delivers. Line drive base hit up the middle. Pitch a little too up in the zone. For A.J. Ramos right there, Brandon Phillips scores easily.
Chase Peterson now. Pitch runner, Chase Darno for Flowers. That's Gordon, and that's the 3rd out. But the Braves have the lead. A run in the 9th. Miami down 5-4. Florida, brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. Marlins Park tonight. Back and forth affair. A lot of home runs. As you see, the Braves a run in the 8th and a run in the 9th. And all of a sudden, Miami's down to the last 3 outs. But down a run. Some changes. Looks like Anthony Recker behind the plate. It is. Recker, the former Met, takes over. Met, the right-hander Jim Johnson becomes the 4th reliever for Atlanta. And the other 3, Eric O'Flaherty, Jose Ramirez, and Aroldis Vizcaíno, have been outstanding. Marlins have some left-handed bats in reserve, and they're going to use a couple of them to open up this inning. Derek Dietrich will pinch hit. Justin Bour is on deck. And then you've got D. Gordon. So that's the trio in the bottom of the 9th for Miami against the big right-hander, the former Baltimore Oriole, Jim Johnson.
Let's give you a little rundown on Jim Johnson. You're going to see a lot of fastballs, 2-seam, 4-seam variety, 93, 95 miles an hour. Now, he has been a ground ball machine throughout his career. That's why he's in the role that he is in right now. You see the numbers, 20 saves, 23 opportunities last year. You see a couple secondary pitches, but he works down in the zone and typically gets lots of ground balls.
Johnson had a save opportunity in Pittsburgh and did not convert it. Walked 2, allowed a run. And Dietrich takes in, and it's 2-1. Dietrich has the power to tie it up. He also has that magnetic power to attract baseballs. Led all the baseball in getting hit by pitch last year. And he takes down and in, and it's 3-1.
Jim Johnson having trouble with the bottom of that zone. Lots of sinking action. Derek Dietrich doing a nice job forcing him up in the zone.
That one right down the middle. And they count 3-2. Well, full count. Dietrich trying to get on in the 9th. And he hits that ball into center field shallow. Inciarte charges in, and he makes the catch. 1 out. Here comes Bour. Now, Bour's numbers 3 for 23 don't really illustrate the at-bats he's had of late. Last night, a sacrifice fly and a single. Fastball for a strike. He walked 4 times in the 2 wins in New York. And of course, had the game-winning double in Washington, D.C. Johnson drops in a breaking ball, and Bour turns back, and it's 0-2. Crowd doesn't like it. Pretty good pitch.
Yeah, crept into the zone late, but still, Justin Bour looking for something to do damage on.
And a high fastball, and that was quick. So Bour strikes out. The last hope for Miami is D. Gordon. Gordon has doubled tonight. Gets sawed off, loops it down the third base line. It's out of Garcia's reach. Well, the difference tonight, bullpen. Marlins relievers have given up 2 runs. Brad Ziegler worked a scoreless 7th, but Junichi Tazawa gave up a home run, the second one of the night, to Ender Inciarte, and A.J. Ramos gave up a run. O'Flaherty, Ramirez, Vizcaíno, and now Johnson. Braves bullpen has held the line. Liner to right, and caught there by Markakis, and the Braves come from behind and beat Miami, and this 2-game series is split right down the middle.
I'll give the Braves a little bit of credit. This is the end of a very long road trip to start the season. Battle back in this one, get the 1-run win.
So the Braves bullpen a little bit better tonight than Miami's pen. A 5-4 Atlanta win. Marlins Live postgame is coming up.